Park, Stamford Bridge and Old Trafford too. But hold on, I hear you cry. Isn't drinking alcohol in the stands at Premier League games illegal? You're right, for the men's game it still is, but the Women's Super League is doing something different. And here's how we got there. Back in the 1980s, football had a serious image problem. The sport was plagued by violence, pitch invasions and beer-fuelled chaos. From fan riots at the 1980 Scottish Cup final to the Heysel disaster years later, things were unsafe and the consequences were disastrous. Then in 1985, Margaret Thatcher's government stepped in. They introduced the Sporting Events Control of Alcohol Act, banning alcohol in view of the pitch across England and Wales. Since then, many fans and clubs have called for the law to be relaxed, especially since other sports don't face the same restrictions. If you're popping down to watch the Red Roses roar at Twickenham, feel free to grab a pint on the way to your seat. Wandering down to Lord's to catch some boundary bashing? Fill your boots with G&Ts. But if you were hoping to cheers your club's promotion to the Premier League with a Prosecco in hand from pitchside, sorry, it'll have to be tea or Bovril. In 2021, it looked like things might finally change. The government commissioned the Crouch Report, a fan-led review into football governance. One recommendation was to allow League Two and National League clubs to lift the alcohol ban to boost matchday revenue. But nothing came of it. Authorities still weren't convinced that fans could be trusted. And then in January 2025, something did change. The Women's Championship, now called the WSL2, launched a trial allowing fans to drink in the stands. The reasoning? Well, fans at women's matches tend to behave differently. Less aggression, more family-friendly vibes. Now, the women's game is raising the bar, literally. Select WSL and WSL2 stadiums are allowing fans to drink alcohol in view of the pitch. It's been a landmark move, showing growing trust in fans and recognising that women's football is building its own culture. So could the men's game be the next to leave the 1980s behind? Well, maybe, if fans can prove they can handle a pint without pitching it at someone. Yeah, don't hold your breath. Until then, it's Bovril all around. Cheers to that.
This is Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs with you through until 4 here on talkSPORT. Where this afternoon, Andy, please tell us what's coming up.
Oh, coming up on the next 3 hours, David O'Leary gives us his take on the North London derby and Villa's resurgence. Danny Kelly goes game by game through the Premier League weekend. I really can't wait. Yeah. And Steve Harmison on the right way for England to prepare for the Gabba. Well, prepare might be a good idea.
Yes, that's true. We're also after those long drives you regretted. And we'll look ahead to tonight's remaining Premier League match with Everton supporting TV producer and writer Jimmy Molville, as well as comedian and Manchester United fan Ian Smith.
There's all this plus Birmingham City cult hero Martin Granger joins us in the studio, and Luke Humphries previews today's World Darts Championship draw and talks Leeds.
Yeah, Daniel Farke under a bit of pressure, of course, and we'll get Luke's take on that. What's time? 4 minutes past 1. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Andy. And as a Tottenham fan and England cricket fan, what a tremendous week. Tremendous weekend sport. If Saturday wasn't bad enough, Sunday actually got worse.
Yeah, we'll cover all of that throughout the programme. My favourite football moment of the weekend was Karen Carney in Strictly.
Was it really?
Oh, the dance of the night.
She was the Paso Doble.
Oh, it was fantastic.
You're impressed?
More than impressed. It was incredible.
Yeah.
The bit I liked was afterwards, she did a real Alan Shearer. She said, "It's not me, it's the other dancers."
Oh, right.
She really did a footballer's thing of thanking the other dancers there. It was excellent.
I think it was her, wasn't it? I mean, the thing is, it's wild to thank the other dancers.
At Blackpool, they have lots of other dancers.
Oh, do they?
To fill out the floor because it's such a big ballroom.
Okay.
But, sorry about that. And
There is an old joke about that, isn't there?
Victor Sylvester.
There was a menswear gag of some sort. I can't remember what it was.
Yeah, that was it. And no,
Did you have your own menswear material when you worked in the menswear game? Were there jokes you always did?
no, not really.
Just in jokes from the menswear
really,
game?
no, I don't.
That only other people in men's. You can't hit us for one that only people who own clothes shops would have
The
got.
sort of things we said about the customers would have me cancelled these days, so I think I'll move on from that.
We all did that. Didn't we? Yeah.
Good win for Newcastle, thanks to 2 goals from Harvey McBarnes, as he's now called.
Harvey McBarnes?
McBarnes.
Yeah, he's-
Give him his full Scottish name.
He's hedging his bets, isn't he, at the
Well,
moment? I mean, has he got a chance of getting in the England setup? I mean, he can still commit,
yeah. I
can't
mean,
he? He's playing very well at the moment.
It's difficult for him, but I mean, it'd be interesting. I can see the arguments against bringing him into Scotland in terms of the players that got them there, but on the other hand,
He's a quality player.
He's as good as anything they've got. So
I think you kind of sense he would have committed by now, wouldn't he? So you sense that he's holding out for England. Maybe he's got a chance. Who knows?
who knows? And it was pretty tricky, wasn't it? The North London.
Pretty
derby.
tricky. Is that your considered take? And
Well, I've just written
that
here.
wasn't the language I used while it unfolded.
As soon as they scored Arsenal, I went, there goes the game plan.
Yes.
I mean, it was just, it was. I've seen him do that with Brentford. I've seen him, like, for example, famously go to Man City, sort of, make it tricky, sort of or tense, irritable sort of game, nick a goal with Ivan Toney or Mbeumo, I can't remember, and then hang on and win the game. And that was the plan. But, this is Spurs, not Brentford.
No, I mean, we're going to talk to Danny about it. We've got David O'Leary coming on, so I won't go into too much there. Very frustrating. Also, the team, I've been just so off it recently. And there was an interesting quote when he got the gig. He said, Thomas Frank, in his opening press conference, to not take a risk is also a risk. But he's not living by that at all, is he? He seems incredibly risk averse. And indeed, every match feels like an exercise in damage limitation, whether that's against good sides or any sides, really. This game against Fulham this weekend at home, and Fulham on the road have not been great. I think it's pretty massive for him, really.
It's very
live on talkSPORT.
The problem for a football club, when you go from one manager that's so extreme one way, and then you go, the next bloke you appoint is completely the opposite, and very pragmatic sort of bloke.
Yeah,
that's half your problem.
It's the nature of the goals we gave away as well. Considering you've got 2 players effectively screening a back 5. And goals are being, you're not picking up players on the edge of the box. I mean, it was pretty basic stuff, wasn't it? Anyway, Danny, I'm sure, will come off.
But, to be fair to her, they're the best team.
Yeah, they are. I didn't expect.
I mean,
I
think we'll give them a better game next week. Hard not to, than Spurs did. But it's hard to see Chelsea winning that game, possibly a draw. But it's much more likely that Arsenal, there'll be goals and Arsenal will come out on top. But we'll see.
No, they are. Look, they're playing fantastically well. I don't think they had to be at their best yesterday to beat a Tottenham side who was set up kind of to lose, really, weren't they?
The worst decision of the weekend was Fabian Schär on Foden. I've never seen anything like that.
Yeah.
Could that not be a penalty? That was such a clear, what happened there, Howard, from Michael Owen.
Yeah.
You just know that they're going to apologise for that.
Well, for me, Howard, that's a penalty. Yeah, I can see what you mean, Michael. But I think it was as well. I mean, he goes right through him, doesn't he?
Ridiculous. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what they're looking at. It's incredible.
Anyway, we will be joined by David O'Leary. We'll get his take on the North London derby, both Arsenal and Spurs. And indeed, we'll ask him about Villa. Was it 9 win 11 games?
I think they've won 5 out of the last 6.
Yeah,
and if they only took one, I think they had 1 win in their first 6 games.
Yeah.
So you have to think that if they'd made a decent start to the season, they'd be up there with Arsenal. They may turn out to be Arsenal's nearest challengers. We'll see.
Well, we'll see.
It's certainly going well.
We'll get David's thoughts on that. Danny Kelly will join us to go game by game through the Premier League weekend. We'll cover all the matches so far. We've got a match tonight, of course. And Jimmy Molville, one of the co-founders of Hat Trick Productions, who brought Have I Got News For You and lots of other fine stuff. He's a TV writer and producer. And
it's
indeed,
a really nice book.
Massive Evertonian. His love letter to Everton, his kind of life story told by support of the club. They're in action tonight against Manchester United, so it's timely that the Manchester United fan, Ian Smith, is going to pop in and see us, comedian. We're going to chat about his new show as well. We'll talk cricket. We have to talk cricket. It was pretty abject, really, once again, and we're not keeping you up, are we?
No.
From an England point of view.
It's not that. It's been, well, it's also catching up with the sleep from the Ashes, but it was just, honestly, it was so dispiriting. But this has been baseball all the way. When they win, it's like by one run, or one wicket. And when they lose, they get absolutely thrashed.
You sound by the barest of margins.
Yeah, they win by the barest of margins, where they lose by the biggest of margins. I mean, I was saying, as soon as I woke up and I thought,
that was always a good start, wasn't it, at your age?
Yeah, I woke up and
every day's a bonus.
Atkinson and Cast were just put on 50. As soon as I turned, I went, that's a bad sign.
Yeah.
Because you knew that the conditions were improving, and that's the way it proved. So as soon as they got those runs, I thought, England haven't got anywhere near enough here. And that's what it proved.
Absolute disaster, wasn't it? And we're going to get the thoughts of Steve Harmison later on.
What's worse is their arrogance. They're so arrogant, their attitude. Yeah, what a surprise their batsmen couldn't play with no preparation whatsoever on those wickets. Oh, what a surprise. And the same with this coming game. Oh, no, we don't need to go and play pink ball cricket under the lights. Why bother? They get what they deserve, this team. They really do.
We'll get Harmy's take on that. We've got a little bit of news from the Championship. We've got a couple of appointments for you. Kim Hellberger's got the job at Borough. Congratulations to him. And Vitor Matos is the new man in charge at Swansea City. So two managers just appointed in the last 10 minutes or so. And we'll get some reaction to that a little bit later on. Going rather good time of going at Borough, isn't it? You would say.
Yeah. Better than going into Wolves.
Yeah. I think the phrase got a lot of work to do. Was doing a lot of heavy lifting at the weekend around Wolverhampton.
Probably the thing.
Pretty tough, isn't it? Anyway, Danny, that's one of the games we'll touch on as we go game by game through the Premier League weekend. We will kick off, though, reflecting on I can't wait, as Alan would say, reflecting on the North London derby. Former Arsenal skipper David O'Leary joins us, and a Villa manager. And we'll talk about the great turnaround at Villa and maybe getting a tune out of Ollie Watkins, who's really gone off the boil, isn't it? It's strange. Though other people are picking up the slack, which is good.
Morgan Rogers had a slow start to the season, but he's really picked up. Yeah.
So we get David's thoughts on that. A little bit later on, we're around Europe. Some huge games this weekend. We've got Barcelona, PSG, Bayern Munich, all involved with teams in the Premier League. So we'll be chatting about that a little bit later on. And as we said, looking ahead to tonight's talkSPORT commentary game as well. Plus Luke Humphreys on the darts. It's the draw for the World Darts Championship at Ali Pali today. And Luke will join us for a chat. Yeah, we will talk a bit of Leeds, get his take on Daniel Farker as well. And Martin Granger, Birmingham City defender, free kick specialist, cult hero at the club, much loved by Blues fans of a certain vintage, has his autobiography out. Martin will be joining us for a chat in the studio as well. It's Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs with you through until 4 o'clock with our very good friends at Toolstation. You can check out Toolstation's unmissable deals, great offers on hundreds of trade brands. Next stop, Toolstation.
could have gone into the top 4 with a victory here today, but they've come here with a game plan which basically said, we'll sit here and wait for you to beat us.
I'm a very big believer that no matter what system you play, you can be successful.
Arsenal won, Tottenham nil. Leandro Trossard with the breakthrough goal. I think it's been really negative from Tottenham and Thomas Frank, and ultimately they paid the price.
Did you think you had Eze?
Who's Eze?
I told you, game over. And it's Eberici Eze again.
His name is Eberici Eze, and he makes it look easy.
It's Arsenal 4, Tottenham 1, Eberici Eze. He could have signed for Spurs, remember, but he's a hat-trick hero for Arsenal.
How many players have they done that? And I could not recall recently anybody doing that. Ranking one of the best in terms of talent. We have a special player there.
Extremely painful to stand here after a bad performance against the worst team we can form badly against. So it's a perfect storm.
There have been a few darker days. Arsenal 4, Tottenham 1.
Yeah, it wasn't great, I'll be honest.
No, of course it was. And it's hard to relive it all again as well. Difficult.
Let's chat now
You're an
to...
Arsenal fan, in which
Yeah,
case
of
it's
course.
glorious.
Well, let's talk about Arsenal first. The former Arsenal skipper, Villa manager. We're going to touch on Villa as well. David O'Leary joins us. Hi, David.
Good afternoon, both of you.
So let's start with Arsenal's performance. What were the good things from obviously beating Tottenham 4-1 was pretty good, but just some of the things you noticed from the performance yesterday. I imagine Nketiah would have caught your eye at the back coming in for his first game. He wasn't put under a lot of pressure, to be fair.
To do, did he?
But looked good.
I'd have to agree with you that he looked impressive, but was he put under much pressure? Was he asked? No, but I've seen him, and potentially he looks really good. And he's a left footer, so I think that's why Mikel chose him and gave the team the right balance. But as I say, was he truly tested? No. But on the day, we've covered it. Arsenal, far superior team, and really, was there a bad player at Arsenal on the day? No, everybody played superbly well.
From Ez's point of view, there was never any doubt, which is obviously why Spurs wanted to try and get him until the old chairman procrastinated. There's a surprise. So getting him, knowing he was going to hit the ground running, was a fantastic signing. There's no period of adaptation. He's oven ready Premier League player, and he proved that from day one, didn't he?
He is, and a quality lad on the pitch, and a really even a different quality lad off the pitch. It's so great to have in your dressing room. Great to acquire you. Did Tottenham need that of a player that maybe they should have wrapped up months before that? But Arsenal came in and got him, and Arsenal punished them for not getting him, and that made it even a worse day for Tottenham on the day.
Arsenal are really reaping the benefits of sticking by a manager. There are times when they could have got rid of Arteta in the beginning, but they knew he was building, and even though they've had a lot of disappointments. Do
you know, you brought it up, and I heard that rumour at the time, but I don't think Mikel was ever in the near of we're going to change him. They had a great belief in him. He's a great coach. He had time. It was going to be his first big job at a big club. But I don't think that was ever on the agenda, even though it was hyped up that way of Arsenal to give him a backing or that. I don't think he ever needed backing, because he always knew that there was a project there, was a plan, and they were always with him.
What they have backed him in is money for signings and big wages, and that's it's a balance of all three. It's a good coach with very good players you're prepared to spend a lot of money on, and to pay well to land them.
Without a doubt, he's been backed with a squad it's the best in the country. Financially, wage-wise, without a doubt, to bring these players in. They've got a lot of the signings right. Haven't got all of them, but you never do that. But the squad that's been put together, you've got to think to yourself, you'll never have a better chance of doing so well in the Champions League, plus the Premier League, which, if you gave me a choice, we haven't won the Premier League for such a long time. That'd be the one for me, and we've got a great chance of doing it. It's a long way to go, but we've got a great squad, and look at the injuries we have. But you look at the team we can put out, and what's on the bench still with all the players that have got to come back. Everything looks so great for the future.
David, can you understand why Thomas Frank set up as he did, changed the shape? I mean, they played three at the back a few times, but then they had two setting effectively in front of a back five. Could you understand that?
Do you know, I was sitting there in the director's box, and Josh Kroenke was over, And I said to Josh after a couple of minutes, I just can't believe how negative this system looks. There was a rumour floating around beforehand that Tottenham were going to come with a back five, so it didn't shock me. But I started looking for it. But even when the goalkeeper to get a kick out and that, everything was slow. And I looked at up front and I think Richarlison up front. No disrespect to the lad, not for me, not particularly. Is he going to challenge the Saliba? Particularly, I couldn't see how they were going to go out, how they were going to score a goal, and I felt that once the first goal came, plenty more were going to follow, and I think that's the way the game went. But I've never seen a Tottenham side who great admiration for Tottenham. I love the rivalry. Played in so many games, great games against them, but I just couldn't believe how negative they were yesterday.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it, that there was no, as you said, the only out ball was just a long hump up field and hoping Richarlison.
Because Arsenal's press is so effective.
Yeah,
it's really.
You have to give Arsenal credit for the way they play.
It'll be interesting.
They've stopped a lot of teams.
Next Sunday at the Bridge will be a fascinating game because Chelsea like to play it out from the back, don't tend to go long, and Arsenal have got a fantastic press. But if you play through it, maybe there's opportunities. So I expect Arsenal to win the game.
Yeah.
But it'll be a better game than yesterday, I think.
Yes, let's move on to Villa, David, if we can. The terrible start of the season. I think last time we spoke to you, they were just kind of climbing out of that. But I mean, they've put an incredible run together, and they've properly turned it around. What have you made of it?
It's been fantastic, and I think as well the run. You can correct me on it, but a run without Ollie Watkins really. I think Morgan Rogers has stepped up and really blossomed and done so well, but. I can imagine if Ollie hits the ground running again, the goals will come from him. But they're on a roll now. I think you maybe correct me. I think they've won maybe 5 out of the last 6 games.
Yeah, that's right.
If you do that, that pushes you up the league big style. And Leeds, I feared for them yesterday. I thought you need teams to be at home at the right time. But they were getting a Villa team who were on the up, playing very well, confidence great. And as I say, they won. And from what I gathered, I didn't see the game. They won well.
He's under a bit of pressure, Daniel Farke, isn't he, at the moment, as a few of the fans have turned on him. Do you think that's fair?
Leeds is a big club. It's a great club. I look for the results all the time. I was looking for it yesterday after the Arsenal match. A great expectation in a city that one big club dominates it. And I hope they stay with him. And I hope they give him the time. But it's a club that, they've got plans for the future, build a big new stadium. To get that done, you can't be yo-yoing, getting relegated, trying to come back up again. You've got to stay in the division. And the big thing for them, staying in this division, is going to be trying to win your home games. But Villa, I just say, top manager. I think the Arsenal job maybe came a bit too much for him. I always felt that maybe it was too big, and he's gone to a club that I think suits him even better.
Just going back to Ollie Watkins, Dave, you mentioned him there. I mean, as a manager, when you've got a good player, proven goal scorer out of Nick, I mean, thankfully from Villa's point of view, other players are picking up the slack, but he's not been as good this season. With a World Cup, he'd want to turn that around. What can you do as a coach to kind of get someone back on it again?
So it's all about him banging goals in. You can give him confidence and belief in him, but I think it seems to be that since that transfer fell through, or a move was on the cards, that he hasn't been the same player since in any way, But I'm sure, like, everybody wants him to bounce back, and the only way to get him to bounce back is to get him to believe in himself again. But the only way that he's really going to is going out there and putting the ball in the net, really. If that happens, Villa even become a stronger team.
A quick word on Republic of Ireland. Yes, we can dare to dream about another World Cup, which of course you had experience of in the past.
Do you know what? I went over for the game against Portugal, and didn't give much hope. But you can always believe that the stadium was rocking. Portugal ended up just a tippy-tappy team going nowhere and had all the possession. Ireland hit them for 2 goals, and good God, the dream was, can they do the business in Hungary? I left Ireland thinking, I hope, but I just couldn't see it happen in Hungary. And then listened to it on the radio over here, and then listen to those last seconds of that winner. Absolutely fantastic. The group they've had, speaking to people there, or the pathway through to the World Cup, it's not going to be easy, but I think they have a great incentive by winning the first game, that you've got that home game next, and anything can happen then with at the Aviva, knowing that if you win it there, you go to the World Cup, and let's hope that dream happens.
Good stuff, David. Always a pleasure. We'll catch up with you soon. Thanks very much.
Yeah. Stay well, both of you. Take care.
Thank you.
David O'Leary there, former Arsenal skipper, Villa and Leeds manager. And I'm going to alert you to the daily podcast. I've been given something to read here.
Oh, yes.
Can I look next door? Who wrote this? Was it you? I'll look at the producer. Did you write that? Wasn't you? Was it our assistant producer, another gooner, was it? Okay, it was emailed to you. Okay, all right.
What does it say?
It says, I'll tell you what I'm going to say. The latest episode of the talkSPORT Daily podcast is out now, and it looks back on Arsenal's win over Spurs. It's not what it says. What it says is, it's out now, as Arsenal ran riot in the derby, with Eze's hat-trick leading a 4-1 demolition of Spurs.
Well, that's pretty much what happened, isn't it?
Yeah, but, I think there's a bit of mischief.
It's hard to know.
So I go back to what I said, Arsenal's win over Spurs. Well, I think with special focus on Richarlison's goal from the halfway line, which was a bit like
Arsenal's narrow victory.
If that's all you can take, if Richarlison's goal, and he's apparently retweeting it, well, the Premier League, not the greatest music.
Why don't you read the room, mate?
Yeah,
That's so ridiculous.
But it did strike me that if all you take away as a Tottenham fan is Richie's goal, it's a bit like going to see Oliver in the West End and coming out whistling some of the music you heard in the toilet in the interval, isn't it, really?
It is, really, yeah.
So anyway, Liverpool suffered a shock 3-0 defeat to Nottingham Forest. They certainly did, leaving Arne slot side stuck in 11th, while Harvey Barnes struck twice as Manchester City were beaten 2-1. If you want to hear more, then the talkSPORT Daily... I'm sorry, I won't be listening personally.
Me
if you
neither.
do want to hear more, the talkSPORT Daily it's normally very good. It's just, just today. Is available on all podcast platforms now. You think I'm in a bad mood? Danny Kelly joins us next. We won't spend too long on the derby from a Spurs point of view, but plenty to get through. We're going to go game by game. We've got to squeeze them all in with Danny Kelly, who's up next.
A 12-1-9, scored 24, conceded 6. talkSPORT's Alan Pardew says those are the kind of stats that you win the league with.
Unless there's a massive hit injury-wise, or some, I don't know, something untold happens with one of the other teams. They just hit us like Man City can do when you put 10, 12 wins together to sort of really close the gap. I can't see anyone catching them.
He was well impressed with Arsenal's 4-1 shellacking against Spurs in the derby yesterday with Ebe Eze's hat-trick, but he insists Thomas Frank isn't out of his depth at Tottenham.
Emotional and frustrated, and we need to look into it with calm heads in that situation. That's why I was very confident going into the game, that we can be competitive in the game, which we weren't, and which is disappointing.
From one team falling to another, struggling to stay afloat. Leeds are in the bottom 3 after defeat to Villa at Ellen Road. Questions are being raised over Daniel Farke, as the fans were chanting for him to make subs in the second half. Farke insists he knows the squad best.
It's not like you can run around the pitch and explain each and every support. It's also not necessarily not important. I have to make sure that I take the decisions that I think are right for the team.
Rugby Union and Steve Borthwick's thrilled with England's progress since he took over.
Time, development, the journey we're on, progress, it's tracking well.
They end 2025 with an 11-game winning streak, losing just once after their victory over Argentina yesterday. You can get more, as ever, on talksport.com.
Good afternoon, Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT. It's time once again to go game by game through the Premier League weekend with Danny Kelly. I'm sure I want to salute a musical genius who we lost today, the great Jimmy Cliff. Good afternoon, Danny.
Oh, Paul, you're absolutely right. That's one of my favourite tunes ever across every genre of music. I've had the pleasure of meeting Jimmy Cliff in the past, and he was, before Bob Marley came along, he was the first Jamaican star, along with Desmond Dekker, to make an impact internationally. So he's an incredibly important person, and I'm really sorry to hear that he's left us.
Yeah, that Harder They Come soundtrack still stands up. I saw the film again a little while ago. It's a brilliant film.
Oh yeah. You drive? Well, drive. As he says when he hijacks the car. You drive? Well, drive.
You two should just have a bit of film chat. We'll forget about Arsenal.
Yeah. I'd really like to do that, Andy.
This is all eating into the time we have to reflect on the. Now, of course, I'm sure you've recorded the view from the lane off your.
I have.
After your Sarfraz Nawaz long run. But anyway, let's just touch on it briefly. We did talk to David O'Leary. Your views overall for that fairly gutless performance. I don't want to lead the witness, but I'm guessing you feel that was a fairly gutless performance.
I'll go further, Paul. It's the kind of performance that got Nuno sacked at Tottenham. And people I know, sensible people, mature people not looking for drama or clickbait headlines, have suddenly ticked over from the obvious, this isn't working, to this isn't going to work, is it? It's ridiculously early to be saying that, but I suspect you cannot. Imagine you are one of the 10 richest, at least financially, clubs in the world. You cannot put out a team like that in a local derby and then get thrashed. You can put that team out and get a result, but you cannot put the team out and watch them making no effort to score, indeed no effort full stop. I thought it was scandalous, and I'm using that word advisedly, and when the Chelsea game came round with the lowest recorded XG for a home team for a long time, experts saying, well, that can't be better this season. Spurs have done it again.
Hold my beer.
No, I mean, if Chelsea had taken their chances...
it would have been... Well, it should have been 4 in that game.
That game as well, definitely.
I don't know. I come away from the match, a couple of people in the meeting before the show said, I bet you love Eze. And you think, I've got absolutely no problem with Eze. It was the fault of our board and our old chairman that dragged his heels, as he's often done on deals in the past. That he always wanted to go there. If the option to go there was on, it was the club he started his career. It completed the circle. Completely respect what he's done. I think he's a fantastic player, and he plays well for. I mean, he's given us a kick in yesterday, and I don't blame him for that. But I've got absolutely no problem.
Allowed him a lump of space on the edge of the box.
I've got no problem with Eze, Dan. I don't know about you.
No problem at all. Why wouldn't he? You know, and here's the reverse side of that. If he doesn't want to play for Spurs, then we don't want him there either. You know, it's not sour grapes. It's just that you want players who want to play for the club for the right reasons. Yeah. He's an Arsenal boy. He's from an Arsenal family, and he's gone to the club he wants to go to. I can't see any problem with that.
It was done, though, because I sat with his agent on the first weekend of the season, and he said to me, Eze's definitely going to Tottenham. So it was done.
Steve Parish was overheard saying at the Chelsea game, God, blimey, this is I don't know why it's taking so long. Anyway, let's move on.
Can I just say that Paul started watching Gone Fishing at 3-0?
Yeah, I tell you what, I wanted to, but a bit like sometimes when you rubberneck on the motorway, you don't want to look, you can't help yourself. But
I said to him, Bob Mortimer's got more chance of catching a fish than Spurs ever getting back in this game.
At 4-1, I did send Andy and away. Anyway, well done. It was a thumping win for Arsenal.
Yeah.
But, Anyway, Leeds won. Leeds won. Aston Villa 2. Again, we had a quick chat with David O'Leary just now.
Yeah.
And Daniel Farke was getting some heat after the game. It's difficult from there. But I mean, they went in front, but that even at home, that wasn't
a bit unlucky with the disallowed goal.
It was handball.
It was handball, but it was unlucky that it hit his hand and not his
but
stomach.
if it goes straight in,
I'm not disputing that.
No,
it was still unlucky that it didn't hit his stomach rather than his hand and go in. You know,
there was a guy taken away from in front of the dugout, and I understand that the Leeds fans are pretty unhappy with Farke. But the difference between them and, say, Spurs is that the Leeds players look like they're still putting in a full shift. I thought, Paul, to return to the disaster in North London, the Spurs players, one of the advantages of watching on TV is you can see the look on the players' faces.
Yeah.
And they were staring side-eye at each other from the very start, thinking, what are we trying to do here? Yeah. You could see that. Whereas Leeds, whatever about the crowd, the team still seemed to be in it on behalf of the manager. I thought they were pretty good in the first half. The questions that still remains, with all that attack in and all that fervour from the home crowd, who's going to get goals for them? And then we saw the quality of Aston Villa. You know, the winner shows the difference between two sides. They've got players, Aston Villa, who can do that. Yeah. They're bringing on Donyell Marlin, Leeds would kill for a Donyell Marlin. And that's just the imbalance of what's available to teams at the upper end and the lower end of the Premier League.
I mean, they had more shots on target, Leeds, than Villa, but you're right. It was just the quality, and that when another one of those.
Though, and the goalkeeper for Rogers.
Yeah.
And the goalkeeper, what was he doing? He just sort of watched it go.
I mean, it's a free kick, but he struck it in the same way as the goal he scored against Spurs.
But he didn't hit it with a massive amount of power.
He kind of bunts it, doesn't he? I mean, it's the old valve, isn't it, Danny? You hit the old valve and it wobbles a bit.
At that pace, the keeper should have saved.
Yeah,
you're absolutely right, Andy. And we saw the person who was the king of this long before David Beckham even, and Cristiano Ronaldo was Juninho at Lyon. And the trouble is, so many times it does look like the goalkeeper has become hypnotised or something. It did see it very, very late, I think, but. In fact, all goalkeepers know, even if you're not getting near, you've got to dive. You've got to put on a show for the crowd.
Yeah.
You can't just stand there staring at it.
Not ideal.
Let's move on then to Newcastle 2, Manchester City 1. A couple of controversial moments in many people's eyes. I like Andy, felt that Phil Foden should have had a penalty for that Fabian Schär tackle. I don't know about you.
The laws on the penalty are so exact now that you could argue that the officials got that right. That he didn't. If you make the contact after the ball has left the other person's foot, there are get-out clauses for the officials, and they chose to exercise them. The problem, as always, is going to be consistency, because next week we'll see a penalty given for exactly the same thing. But first of all, we should say, Andy, we shouldn't let the two slightly controversial moments overrule the fact this was a fantastic game of football.
Yeah.
In a league which lacks a little bit of quality, great competitive league at the moment, lacking a little bit of quality, this was a fantastic game. And, City are still working their way back to what they were 2 years ago when they were champions of Europe. And Newcastle at home can take on anybody. Harvey Barnes is doing what sometime in each of the next 6 months, somebody at Newcastle has to take some of the stress off Nick Valdemar to getting the goals. He's doing it now. I don't expect him to go on and get 20 goals this season, but whether it's Jacob Murphy or Visser when he comes back,
Visser will make a difference, definitely.
They've got to just make sure it's not just left to Valdemar.
Won't he be straight off to AFCON? So when he play about 2 games and then go to AFCON?
Probably, yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
It'll be a bit
no goal from Haaland, and what a remarkable statistic that he's only ever scored 1 goal against Newcastle in his career. What would that be?
You get those kind of weird anomalies,
really
don't
strange.
you? It seems increasingly that if you can kind of keep Doku quiet as you can, that does cause City problems because he is such a supply line. He draws players to him. But Livramento did a good job on him, I think, overall.
I think tactically they set up Newcastle. Well, we haven't got a sort of whiteboard here to show it on. They did everything they could to push Manchester City wide and to take a chance, as you say, that their centre halves will once again compete with Erling Haaland in the air. And in the end, City, they weren't frustrated. They kept going right to the end. I thought it was just a really good game against a City side that are not quite the power they were.
Yeah.
And Newcastle found a way to win it.
And maybe, I think it was Joe Hart, wasn't it, on Match of the Day, talking about Donnarumma getting sucked into these and Vicario did the same thing until he learnt not to, and he's been better for it, I think. But Donnarumma doesn't want to get sort of sucked into those because when players know that you're going to do that and it's going to put you off, they're going to do it even more.
Yeah, and don't forget, he's had several years in Paris where there was almost no contact with him because the opposition didn't get that many touches in his penalty area. So whether he's become unused to it or whether it's just something that he's got to learn in the Premier League, because you're absolutely right. If you start making an issue of it, the cynical old heads in the Premier League will of course go for, do that more now.
Yeah, get on his wick, get in front of him, because he will react and he will. Yeah. Anyway,
credit to Newcastle. When City equalised so quickly, he thought they'd have the momentum, get the next goal. But it
was good performance by them. Well done, Harvey Barnes, as Danny said. To have missed that really good one in the first half and then, not let it put him off.
He's a good player, isn't he? He's always a good player. Yeah.
So I'm sure the Phil Foden call and the Donnarumma, was it a foul or not? All things that will come up in the Men in Black podcast. Offside confusion, non-penalties, dodgy handballs, all the big controversies. Sam Matterface and the former Premier League ref Chris Foy. You'll get the definitive verdict on all the weekend's chaos in the Men in Black podcast. You can download, subscribe and listen now on YouTube or talkSPORT's Premier League All Access feed. Next up, we will bring you, Wolves fans, Wolves 0, Crystal Palace 2 to kick off the second section as we go game by game with Danny Kelly through the Premier League weekend. You can check out Toolstation and their unmissable deals, great offers on hundreds of trade brands. Next stop, Toolstation. We're going game by game through the Premier League weekend. Danny Kelly is with us, and we are light on Wolverhampton Wanderers 0, Crystal Palace 2. Rob Edwards' first game in charge. And as we said, the phrase "a lot of work to do" has probably been said quite a few times around.
After the game, I haven't got a magic wand. And if it wasn't for Harry Potter, that would seem very strange, though, wouldn't it? Because all the TV magicians have gone out of business, even Sooty. And so the only way you could know about a magic wand these days if you were a fan of J.K. Rowling's stories. But he did say he hasn't got a magic wand. And I think we should all just agree, no football manager has got a magic wand.
No.
Just you don't need to tell us anymore.
Maybe Mikel Arteta.
I'd like to take issue with that. I think, Neil Warnock once had a magic wand.
Has Mikel Arteta got a magic wand? Maybe, would he come forward and tell us that? Or would he keep it to himself? I mean,
no,
I would.
He's got a fantastically expensively put together and brilliant squad of players, which is what Wolves don't have, and what you need. Magic wands, no use to anyone.
No.
Jeremy Pino's a good bit of recruitment, though.
Yeah.
But this is my point. People talk about the academies now and how important they are. But if I gave you the choice between having a brilliant academy producing young players, one of our own and all the rest of it, or having a brilliant recruitment department, I think in the modern game you'd always choose the latter. The 2 goals were scored. Jeremy Pino's goal, they got him. And I think you have to be honest and say that the Spanish academies just turn out brilliant footballers, many of whom succeed. Not all, but many, a high percentage succeed in the Premier League. So they were taking a chance, of course, but he's absolutely, he's been threatening that goal, hasn't he, for the last 5 6 weeks. And then Daniel Munoz, when everybody going, we're going to sign this World Cup winner, we're going to sign this person from AC Milan, we're going to get that person from Atletico Madrid. Genk, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
They brought him from Genk. And he is the best player in his position, along with Reece James, in the Premier League. Genk, everybody.
It's true.
You're enjoying saying the word Genk, aren't you?
I certainly am, and I'm not, and I'm kind of confused with Ghent in their local rivals.
No.
It's funny, though, how some
we all love the Ghent derby. Or what's better? Is it the Ghent derby or is it the Ghent derby?
I've no idea. But it's funny how some players settle in easily to the Premier League and some don't. It's really odd. But those expensive white trainers Oliver Glasner wears, he needs stuff.
Are they expensive?
Oh, very expensive, yeah.
As the winter comes on, the pitches get muddy, even the sidelines get muddier. He's going to need... What's he going to do? He's going to be scrubbing them constantly, really, isn't he, really?
Yeah, definitely.
Well done, so it's a lot of work for Rob Edwards to do. I think we'll take that as read.
And not in the Premier League.
No, possibly not, no.
No.
Liverpool 3, Nottingham Forest 0. Let's touch on that. A real shocker. But Forest were fantastic. Maybe they should have been the blueprint for the way Tottenham should have played 24 hours late. If you want to sit deep and try and hit teams on the break, then you have to hit teams on the break. You have to be dynamic, you have to press, you have to be sharp, and you have to be lethal.
Stuck in. You have to get stuck in. Sorry to be so Stuart Pearce about it. I'm so glad that Stuart is well these days again. Look, they've got some very good players, Forest, who just weren't clicking for any number of reasons. Morgan Gibbs-White's form is back to what got him into the England team. Murillo is a monster at the back. And with one or two of their senior centre-backs coming to the end of their contracts. You watch out for Real Madrid with Murillo. They love a Brazilian centre back, and he's perfectly tough enough to play there. Lovely striker of the ball. But look, Liverpool. I'm going to say this, and normally we have like a bit of knockabout on this section, don't we? And we'll get on to some later on, no doubt. But I think there's multiple problems at Liverpool, including the manager trying to fit too many square pegs into round holes. Watching Dominic Szoboszlai trying to play right back, he's such a willing trier, but it's just not right. But I think that Diogo Jota can't be taken out of this equation.
It's a huge fact.
These are human beings. Their mate has gone in most unfortunate of circumstances. You know what footballers say? You can control the controllables. Well, what happened to them is the ultimate uncontrollable. And I don't doubt that they're still grieving in their individual and collective way. And it's not what people want to hear, because they want to be able to have football reasons for what's going wrong. But I'm pretty sure that a large percent of what's happening there is that even the wonderful thing of playing football in front of 50 or 60,000 people has been put into a rather negative perspective for the time being for Liverpool's young players.
Yeah, they miss the person and they miss the goals. There's no question.
Yeah, I think it has deeply affected
more
them.
inconsistency over interfering with play. I've just been looking at it again. I mean, it is mad, isn't it? The one against Robinson, that was against City, that was disallowed. The one with Ndoye, that's given. It's the same thing. They've got to sort this out. How is that not interfering with play? They're right in front of Alisson. You can't see the ball.
Because all the stuff that happened at the Emirates, the second goal that Arsenal got, and they could have had 20, so it's not a problem. The second goal, there are 3 Arsenal players standing yards offside between the goalkeeper and the ball. And they found, maybe Vicario knew that he was he's on the wrong end of a hammering anyway. He hardly complained about it. They've now got themselves into as big a tangle over that rule about offside and interference as they have about handball. And
it should be much more simple. If you're offside, you're offside. Now get out of the way. End of. Honestly,
is at this point I could of course say, well, if it had stayed at 1-0 yesterday, then who knows?
Yeah.
I think we all know.
Don't make a fool of yourself on national radio.
I think we all know definitely what would have happened, and it probably wouldn't have been any different from what did happen. Forest, I did love after match. I saw
Sean Dyche's attitude is great, isn't it?
Nico Williams interviewed, and also Morgan Gibbs White, and they were asking him about the things that Sean Dyche had done and how he's changed things. He said, "What are you doing differently?" He said, running, we're doing quite a lot of running. They both said that. So maybe there was a feeling they
Somebody sent me yesterday.
Quite as fit.
Somebody sent me a picture of a van with a number plate, Big Ange.
Yeah.
And he said to me, this bloke, I see Big Ange is keeping himself busy. And I said, it's a drain blockage company.
Well, okay.
I said, apparently he leaves the doors unlocked and can't understand why stuff keeps getting nicked out the back.
Yeah, I did. I did feel watching some of the games it did feel like I was unblocking a drain, so that maybe would make sense. But
that was the smell, was it?
I think it may well have been. I'll go and get me rods. And while I'm doing that, we will return very shortly with a look at what's the next game. Fulham versus Sunderland. Before that, though, this Saturday, Ben Whittaker makes his matchroom debut against Benjamin Gavazzi for the WBC Silver Light Heavyweight title in a world title eliminator. You can watch live this Saturday, only on DAZN. More from Danny Kelly as we continue to go game by game through the Premier League weekend in a few moments' time.
Boxing update on talkSPORT with DAZN, the global home of boxing. Sign up now at dazn.com/boxing.
Monaco, Singapore, Las Vegas. What do they all have in common? Well, they're all F1 street circuits. 20 years ago, the sports only visited 3 a year. From 2026, there'll be 10, despite the actual racing often being worse. So why? Why are there so many street circuits? Cars racing past the Casino Monte Carlo is one of the iconic images in all of sport. But in the last few years, it's been joined in the Street Circuit Club by the dazzling Grand Prix on the Las Vegas Strip, in Miami, Azerbaijan and others. And there's no sign of the trend slowing down. The streets of Madrid have also gotten involved, and there are conversations about Grand Prix in the capitals of Thailand and Rwanda. But fitting them in means we said goodbye to classic circuits like Hockenheim and Imola, angering fans who are still packing out the European tracks like Spa, the Hungaroring and Monza. And these generally produce more wheel-to-wheel action than street circuits too. At Silverstone in 2025, there were a total of 26 on-track overtakes. At Monaco, 4. I'm an F1 enthusiast. Even I struggle with that. But it appears to be a good step. In 2025, there was a record 2.3 million strong viewership for the Monaco Grand Prix in the US alone. Meanwhile, for the British Grand Prix several weeks later, 1.5 million tuned in. So why are we seeing this drive towards street circuits? Well, no prizes for guessing. Money. Formula One demands a fee of between $20 and $60 million for the rights to even hold an event. In total, including sponsorships, it's believed officials in Saudi Arabia pay almost $100 million for their race. The huge fees are possible because of the street track's city centre locations, as people staying at hotels at inflated prices and tourist sites brimming with visitors mean the cities rake the cash back in when the race comes to town. So it makes financial sense for Formula One and the cities, but will it cost the sport in the long run if F1 races are too boring? After all, nothing beats the roar of an F1 car as it flies through the forests of Europe, or mechanics watching a storm coming across the humid Asian countryside. Take that away and, well, you may as well just watch American IndyCar.
Yes, good afternoon. Paul Hawksbee, Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT. And coming up in the second hour of the show, we're going to be joined by Birmingham City Colt defender Martin Granger, popping in to see us to chat about his autobiography, Cut Short. Jimmy Molville will also be with us. He's big Evertonian. He's written a love letter to the club, his life story through the club's eyes, and he's going to pop in and see us and look ahead to tonight's game against Manchester United at Old Trafford, which we bring you live on talkSPORT. But we're going game by game through the Premier League weekend. We've got a bit of catching up to do. Fulham 1, Sunderland 0, Danny, is where we're at. Yeah, interesting game. And
has
Fulham
the
at home.
Sunderland bubble burst?
Well, I know you'd want it to you because you're such a bitter Chelsea fan. But Fulham at home, yeah, I mean, pretty much all conquering, aren't they?
Well, look, as we keep on saying this, but it's worth reiterating. Take the top 2 or 3 teams out of this Premier League and cut Wolves out of the equation because of the terrible start they've made. There's not much to choose between most of the teams in the Premier League. And so this was one of those games where Sunderland either had an off day at the office compared to what they've been doing, or Fulham continued, as you pointed out, to be a much better team at home than they are away from home. This was a 1-0 battering. Sunderland fans won't mind me saying that. It came relatively late in the game. It's only 1 goal, but Fulham had 24 shots at goal. By the time they went in, that was the 17th shot they'd had at goal. So sooner or later, you are going to concede if people are really pouring down on you like that. So, as I say, if you have a slightly off day in this league, you're going to get beat because there's nothing between the teams. And Sunderland have got nothing to reproach themselves for. They've had a great start of the season, and Fulham need to win these home games to keep clear of particularly with Forest starting to be resurgent. Although there is a part of me that dreads the two teams that were promoted last season. Obviously, Sunderland are fine. And Wolves going down, and we just perpetuate the same 16 teams in the Premier League in perpetuity.
You feel Roof's the keeper's going to be so important for Sunderland as the season unfolds. He's excellent, and we'll possibly win him a point on the road now and again, or get him a result that when they play particularly well. Yeah, a bit like Fulham, really, same sort of thing. The home form will be the key. So we move on then to Brighton 2, Brentford 1. Danny,
a bit fortunate, Brighton.
Well,
missed penalty at the end was pretty key.
They'll feel aggrieved at that because the game was really, really close. But shouldn't we just have one section each week when we do this called the Danny Welbeck section?
Indeed, yeah.
Because he is a news story every week. I've got to be honest, I'm not one of these who's saying he's got to go as the backup to Harry Kane to the World Cup. He's Danny Welbeck. That boat has probably sailed for him. He played a lot of games for England, if you look back. But that was almost a decade ago. What we should be doing is just enjoying a player who, in his what ought to be his twilight years, is just in the most fantastic form. And a bad player who, let's be honest, whenever he's been fit, has been very, very good and clearly loves playing the game. He wasn't the difference between the sides because there was nothing between the sides, really, except that when, Brentford got their chance, the penalty, and fluffed it. That again in a league this close is gonna mean that you don't get anything out of the game, and they will be aggrieved because they were in that all the time.
That was a lovely finish. You can tell he's in such good nick and so great. The cushion volley, you can't beat a cushion volley. It was a lovely finish, wasn't it?
Well, it takes the goalkeeper out of the equation because he took it. If you're taking a touch, goalkeeper sets himself. The cushion volley, goalkeeper might as well have been in the stand applauding with the rest of us.
I see Belieber was subbed at half-time. I don't know if he was injured, but there's definitely been a drop-off since United were interested in him.
You think he's trying to get out and going to Manchester United?
He's holding on for Chelsea, Andy, that's why.
Oh, God. The interesting thing about Brighton and Chelsea is that Chelsea have based their model on Brighton.
Yeah.
But one thing Brighton are not afraid to do is play older players. I mean, it's quite
Lewis Dunk very good again.
Amongst all those kids, it's quite good to have a couple of old. They're never going to do that, Chelsea. But it's an interesting idea.
It's a good blend of youth and experience, John. Bournemouth 2, West Ham 2.
This was a good game.
The game of two halves, of course. And it seems that Callum Wilson saying the other day he hadn't given up hope of getting in the England squad. Maybe with his tongue slightly in his cheek. But then he goes.
He scored two.
Then he goes and scores 2 goals.
Yeah, the first of which was really, really excellent. I mean, he got given time by Bournemouth to get the shot away, but it was really, really good. And the difference between West Ham when he was on the pitch and West Ham when he wasn't on the pitch was clear. And you're absolutely right. The two completely different halves in which, West Ham will count this still, I think. I know you don't want to be losing a 2-0 lead, but that's a decent point on the road against a Bournemouth team who are not perhaps as fluent as they were a year ago, but still pretty tough to beat. And they're making a habit of coming back from being behind, particularly at home.
It was. It's a real high-risk strategy. I mean, a lot of the West Ham fans are unhappy about the fact that he took Wilson off after 7 minutes of the second half, put Souček on and said, OK, let's try and cling on to what we got.
Yeah.
But Bournemouth at home, you know what Bournemouth are like at home? They're going to come on strong, and it was always going to be really high risk. I mean, I don't know. You're damned if doing, you're damned if you don't.
Apparently, Kilman's got a new sponsorship deal with goalkeeping gloves.
Yeah, I mean, was he
lucky
to stay on, Danny? I mean, we all felt that, didn't we?
Yeah, Paul, you asked me, and I'm going to give you the same answer I would give you for the Arsenal second goal, for some of the other things we've discussed here. It's impossible to know anymore. It's not because we're thick, it's because the officials have got themselves into such, between the laws of the game are now so complicated for what are basically simple things, the interpretation of the laws and the fact that you've got 1, 2 and sometimes 3 minds being applied to the problem means that, I'm never surprised anymore whether the decision is given or not given. And Howard Webb and the powers that be, and some of this is down to IFAB as well, to decomplicate the rules. I know why they started introducing all these sub-clauses, because they wanted to, allow for every possible situation But what they've done is just confused everybody, including, unfortunately, themselves.
Absolutely tie themselves
the
in.
refs are letting it flow, but Michael Oliver did yesterday, and this season we're mostly letting it all go.
Yeah.
Says the PGMO.
Maybe possibly too
Well,
much.
Michael Oliver had an easy job because there were no tackles, was there?
That's right. It was very low. That's true. Enizuno, a mention of him. What a lovely turn. Great taken turn to score that second goal. A guy who's had 2 cruciates, for goodness sake. And to come off cold off the bench and just have that touch and put that away was pretty special, I think.
Absolutely, Paul. My pet peeve in football, even with players that I can't stand, is when they get serious injuries because it's such a waste of just natural God-given talent, you know. So for somebody like him who's been absolutely plagued and with an injury that nobody can, even with the miracles of modern science cliche, nobody can really say whether you're going to come back, A, physically the same, and B, and critically, confident enough in your own mind to let your body do what it could do prior to the injury. So I was thrilled for him when he came on, and let's be fair, that turn was testing all of the moving parts of his lower limbs, wasn't it?
Yeah, he's up there, a well lubricated knee these days.
Yeah.
Burnley 0, Chelsea 2. A game that really Chelsea should have been out of sight. So were you a bit nervous, Andy, at 1-0?
I said to my son, we've made a 10-course tasting menu out of that one. Honestly, never mind a meal. It's interesting, though, Sanchez with his usual once-a-game moment where he gives the opposition a great chance.
Yeah.
Kicks the ball straight in the back of Enzo Fernandez's head.
Yeah, that was
Last week he
weird.
said, the oppositions don't want me to have the ball because they realise, I'm good. I thought, blimey, that's the opposite, isn't it? I'm sure they want you to have the ball, don't you? But still, he has improved.
Are Chelsea contenders, Danny? They're right up there. They're putting a run of results together. Are they going to take on Arsenal?
The youth of their team and they've got a good squad of players, and the youth of them tells me that we don't know their ceiling. It is unknown. If they all improve together, then you'd have to say yes, they are contenders. The counter argument is that Arsenal are so strong in so many ways just now, and people talk about the times they've been runners up the last 3 years. Will that affect them? I think that'll just be a motivation for them.
Yeah.
Why would you want to repeat that experience? But when you see the kind of players they've got on the bench, when Odegaard is going to struggle to get back into the team when he's fit, Chelsea are contenders because with this way through, we're only a third of the way through the season, and they can improve hugely because the youth of their team. But if Arsenal carry on the way they are, Paul, I don't want to even finish the sentence.
Look, I think Chelsea are where Arsenal were 2 years ago. I think
they're in progress.
And
Cole Palmer could be back, possibly on the bench for the Arsenal game, from what Enzo Maresca's been saying. He probably wouldn't start. He wouldn't risk that, would he? But, almost had a Tyrone Mings moment with Chalobah, didn't we? Weird thing where he picked up the ball, Danny. Have you spotted that, thinking that he'd not realising that Sanchez had kicked it?
You can't give a penalty for that.
No, I think the bar, thankfully, is that little bit higher in the Premier League.
But the numbers for Burnley look grim, even though they've got 11 points.
Yeah.
You saw a match today, they're 20th in everything.
You do wonder if they got enough goals in them, don't you, really, Danny?
No, look, what they did with their astonishing defending to get themselves out of the Championship is not enough in the Premier League, because getting a goal here or 2 goals there, as they did, while conceding nothing, the teams they're playing against now are scoring against them, albeit they're putting in tremendous shift, Burnley. You can still see that. They haven't changed enough from what they were, I think, to survive. I'm really worried about them. I think they can go down. Leeds, I don't know whether somehow that crowd, the crowd can't get on the pitch. Well, one bloke nearly got in the dugout, we know that. The crowd can't get on the pitch, but there's something about Ellen Road that makes me think if one of the teams in the bottom third have a bad run in the deep heart of the winter, Leeds could still find their way out. I'm just not as confident about Burnley.
And one of the great highlights every week of Burnley is seeing what Scott Parker's wearing this week.
He's still going with that 3-hoop thing.
Yeah, he's obviously got to deal with those guys. But there he was, grey tie, grey sort of Starsky and Hutch pullover. There's one for the teenagers.
Quite stylish.
Yes, he is pretty stylish. He's like the kid at school who was always well turned out. There was always one lad at school who was always better dressed than everybody else. His dad had a building firm normally at my school.
Normally,
anyway.
exactly right.
The dad would drop him off in the Daimler Sovereign at school. Oh, your dad's car. I love your dad's car.
I can tell you what he was called in my class. He was called Jim Morris Row.
There we are. The age face. Brilliant.
Yeah.
He'll be delighted he's got a mention today.
Jimmy, yeah, I hope you're still listening. Yeah, of course.
Brilliant.
Cheers, Danny, and we'll catch up with you soon. Thanks very much.
Cheers, man. Bless you all.
There we are. There's Danny Kelly. If you really want to put yourself through it, listen to the View from the Lane podcast with Danny and all of his fellow presenters on that one, Spurs fans. We should let you know, of course, Danny also brings us Trans-Euro Express alongside Andy Brassel. Andy's going to join us for a look at the big stories from around Europe later on. Another big show, as always. I talk about Paul Pogba returning to football, the Milan derby, all the big talking points. The nick that everybody's in ahead of all the Champions League, Europa League, Conference League games this week, of course. And you can listen now on the talkSPORT app or via your favourite podcast platforms. That's Trans-Euro Express. Jimmy Molville to join us to talk Everton. Birmingham City cult hero defender, free kick specialist Martin Granger popping in to see us to chat about his autobiography. But next up, we're talking darts with Paddy Power and later on, Luke Humphries. Andy Brassel will join us a little bit later on to look at the big stories around Europe. And one of them that seems to be building is Vinicius, not particularly getting on well with Xabi Alonso. And a few reports out of Spain that he may not sign a new contract if Xabi Alonso's there. So
no shortage of takers, I feel, if he's available on a free.
No. I don't know how long his contract is, but June 2027 it runs out.
So you're going to have to pay quite a lot of money, and I should imagine the wages are fairly high.
Yeah, I would imagine they are. I imagine he's on at least 60 grand a week.
Can I thank exactly? Can I thank the official Chelsea club historian Rick Glanville?
Yeah, lovely book you've
just
got.
Dropped off this book for me that is absolutely.
You're going to have to buy a coffee table to go with it, aren't you? It's a beautiful.
It's basically Chelsea. It's not of any interest to any other fans.
No.
Chelsea FC: The Official History by Rick Glanville. I mean, it's all about a sumptuous book.
Yeah,
it's absolutely fabulous.
Expensively put together. Very nice.
Beautiful. So thank him for that.
Anything else, Andy, you want to talk about today? Because we've got a little bit of time. We await Paddy Power is going to join us. It's the draw today for the Paddy Power World Darts Championship, PDC World Darts Championship. And Paddy's going to tell us about what they're up to, bit of charity money, etc. And we're going to have a chat with Luke Humphreys a little bit later on, because the draw's at 4:30 today. The guys on drive, I'm sure, will keep an eye on that for you.
It's exciting. England have declined to practice pink ball under the lights cricket. I wonder what might happen in the next Test match. I can't possibly imagine.
Let me run something past you, Andy, that I was reading today in the Times.
Brilliant.
It's courtesy of Stuart Law, of course, the former Australian cricketer and coach. He believes that playing a pink ball game in Canberra would be counterproductive, and this is why. I wouldn't want to bat in Canberra and then go to Brisbane, he said. You've got a ball bouncing at knee high and then a ball bouncing at chest high. It doesn't do you much good.
Possibly, but then the idea of just getting tuned to the pink ball and under lights, there's all right. They could practice like that. Let's see what happens. But they might come storming back England. But that was
it's going to be difficult in a day-nighter, isn't it?
Dismal performance. It really was. Yeah. It says here. I mean, this bloke wrote, why were counties made to watch? Play largely unwatchable rounds of championship cricket with the Kookaburra ball, supposedly to try to recreate test match conditions when the actual test team itself don't want to acclimatise to the conditions they'll be playing in next week.
Yeah.
It's a point, isn't it?
Yeah, the shot selection again was pretty abject, wasn't it? For
Tony, I was telling you in the break, Tony Cascarino made a very interesting point in the Times this morning about Pep and his end-of-game chats, which are extremely annoying with the opposition players. He thinks they should be stopped. I don't know how you can stop them, but it is annoying that he's either tapping them up or telling them and giving them a coaching lesson or some. I don't know what he shouldn't.
The thing is, the other managers are slightly in awe of him. So Eddie Howe, I'm surprised old Jason didn't get stuck in, because he probably would. But I go up and say, he's nothing to do with you, mate. Back off, So, but I mean, where's Neil Warnock when you need him? I think he might have had a word, quite possibly. And that cameraman got some clog as well, didn't he?
Yeah.
Got a bit close to Pep. He wasn't in the best of moods.
No, well, he never is when they lose, really. Not his favourite thing.
No.
What else have we got? Oh, yeah. I don't really do this when it's not in the section, but it's a wonderful bit of column fodder right at the end of her column yesterday.
Yes.
There was obviously a little bit left over. So she had to come up with another story.
We need another 5 lines, do we? Okay.
This is great. Despite decades of dealing with Christmas decorations, I still find it a challenge deciding when to install the tree. Is the second week of December too early to put it up? Will it shed needles and turn scrawny before the actual... I mean, really, honestly.
Yeah. People have gone early, though, Andy. I don't know if you've noticed it around your way.
I know this is not a major problem when considering the state of the world. It sure beats fretting about Ukraine and the budget.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
What a band they were.
Honestly.
Give me a cough.
Really
so, I don't know where Paddy Power is. No doubt we'll chat to him a little bit later on. He's probably fully enjoying the hospitality there at the World Darts Championship.
Yeah, there's a nice promotion. They did it last year.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure we'll find out. We'll find out about the Darts of Destiny that they're doing this year. And we're going to have a chat with Luke Humphreys a little bit later on as well. But still to come this afternoon, we'll be joined by the former Birmingham City defender, Martin Granger. He has written his autobiography. Jimmy Molville will be popping in, Evertonian TV producer and writer, to chat about his book on Everton. And Steve Harmison later on to mop up the cricket, and we'll look ahead from a Manchester United point of view for tonight's Premier League game between Manchester United and Everton live on talkSPORT with the comedian Ian Smith, who will be here as well. So lots to come between now and 4.
12, won 9, scored 24, conceded 6. talkSPORT's Alan Pardew says those are the kind of stats that you win the league with.
Unless there's a massive hit injury-wise, or some, I don't know, something untold happens with one of the other teams. They just hit us like Man City can do when you put 10, 12 wins together to sort of really close the gap. I can't see anyone catching them.
He was well impressed with Arsenal's 4-1 shellacking against Spurs in the derby yesterday with Ebe Eze's hat-trick, but he insists Thomas Frank isn't out of his depth at Tottenham.
Emotional and frustrated, and we need to look into it with calm heads in that situation. That's why I was very confident going into the game, that we can be competitive in the game, which we weren't, and which is disappointing.
From one team falling to another struggling to stay afloat. Leeds are in the bottom 3 after defeat to Villa at Ellen Road. Questions are being raised over Daniel Farke as the fans were chanting for him to make subs in the second half. Farke insists he knows the squad best.
It's not like you can run around the pitch and explain each and every support. That's also not necessary, not important. I have to make sure that I take the decisions that I think are right for the team.
Rugby Union and Steve Borthwick's thrilled with England's progress since he took over.
Time, development, the journey we're on, progress, it's tracking well.
They end 2025 with an 11-game winning streak, losing just once after their victory over Argentina yesterday. You can get more, as ever, on talksport.com.
Martin Granger, and it's in! Fabulous free kick by the veteran left back. He's the first Birmingham player to score against Manchester United since Ian Handysides 18 years ago.
Yeah, fantastic free kick by Martin Granger at Old Trafford. Sadly, that was the last meaningful moment of his injury-hit career, which is why his autobiography is called Cut Short. Since then, he's become a real cult hero. And when you mention his name at Birmingham City fans, he was kind of their representative on the pitch, a sort of wholehearted player. Spent, I think, 9 years at the club, and he's joined us in the studio. Hey, Martin, how are you?
I'm very good, thank you. Thanks for having me in.
It must be great. I mean, you must run into Blues fans, and they tell you how much they love watching you play and how you always put a shift in for them. It must. I mean, although there was a lot of setbacks in your career, that must mean a lot to you.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't start particularly well when Trevor was manager. But I reference in the book, there was one guy at Swindon away. Yeah, I had a bad run of games after like 3 games, and I got up to warm up. I was sub that day, and he told me to sit down with all the expletives.
Nice.
And I thought, I'll prove you wrong. And from then, I said to him, I'm going to buy him a beer when I'm eating.
That's brilliant, isn't it?
Barry Fry writes the forward, and he feels he was one of the best signings you ever made. Ever made for Birmingham City, but he wasn't around for that long initially. And then it was Trevor Francis, you've mentioned there, who came in. But you played. I mean, you later worked under Steve Bruce, but you played against Steve. He came to Blues, didn't he?
Yeah, he came from obviously Manchester United.
Yeah,
it was towards the end of his career, but you could see what a good player he was when you played alongside him. The way he organised and the way he played and the way he spoke to people, and then he went on to become the manager.
Yeah.
We done most of his running though because his legs were sort of gone.
But Gary Ablett came in. You made some interest. I mean, you used to bring some good young players. Michael Carrick, you played with along the way as a young player on loan.
Yeah, Trevor brought some good players in, and like we had Barry Horn as well, Mikel Fussell, Christophe Dugarry. Had some really good players through that period of time.
It must. You say the book's called Cut Short, and you have to pack up at 32. But I mean, it must be. We were talking earlier on about Ennis Unal and 2 cruciates, but you had lots of breaks in your career with injuries. Was that, you think that was the nature of the sort of way you played? You were quite a sort of fearsome tackler.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was just a bad run of luck.
Yeah.
It was all to do with my patellar tendon, which I ruptured a couple of times, and it was just too painful to carry on. So it was around 30. I sort of knew I was finished, but we sort of tried to come back over a 2-year period, and it just didn't happen.
How do you manage something like that? You got 2 years. We often talk about sort of Ledley King playing on one knee for most of his career. But I mean, what's it like? I mean, you know, you finished though, as we just saw there, with a brilliant free kick at Old Trafford against Manchester. How do you keep going for 2 years knowing you're done? Really?
Well, I actually done the injury a free kick before that, and the patellar tendon snapped in half.
Oh.
And I actually hit the ankles of the wall. And Brucey was shouting at me to take the next one, and I thought, I can't. So I took it, and obviously it went in. But yeah, managing the 2 years is just, it is heartbreaking because you want to be out on the pitch and you can't do what you're getting paid to do, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's difficult because you're out of sight, out of mind. You know?
Well, talking of that, you tell a few stories about the management structure. There was David Sullivan, David Gold, and Karen Brady, and you had an incident with David Sullivan. You've been playing for the club for quite a while. Tell us what happened.
Well, that particular day I had one man of the match, so I was getting walked up to the corporate boxes, and he come walking past with, I don't know, some security, and he sort of like was clicking his fingers, and he went, you're the left-sided player. And I said, it's Martin Granger, chairman. And he went, yeah, that's the one, and just carried on walking. It was like, I've only been there 4 years.
Oh, fabulous.
And because you were so popular at Birmingham, there was a sort of clamour to get you a testimonial. But you do say in the book that you had to work pretty hard for it. The club weren't that forward in making it happen.
Yeah, well, obviously I went to see Karen, and she said, look, we'll offer you a testimonial. We don't want to do it. I was like, all right, great. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your service.
Yeah. And then she said, you've got to do it all yourself in an international fortnight. I think it was in February. The team was second from bottom in the league. So it's difficult for people to come out and spend their money. If it wasn't for a guy called Mick Flaherty, who I mentioned in the book, I probably wouldn't have had one. But the crowd was full of most of my family.
Go on.
Yeah, sorry, Andy, you carry on. Yeah.
No, I'm just talking about the club since you left. It's been up and down. That one glorious day at Wembley, but it's kind of coming back. And then last week we saw this amazing new stadium. So the fans have got something to be excited about.
Yeah, well, the new owners, they reckon the stadium's going to rival Tottenham's or be even better.
Yeah.
And they need to build the team to go together with that. And hopefully they'll go up at some time, at some point, and then they'll stay there.
Did you feel like when you went there? Did you feel like it was the kind of it's a big old ground, St Andrews, a big club. They've been a big club over the years, and you played in the Premier League. You went to a Worthington Cup final, and you in Cardiff with them, so you had some big moments with the club.
Yeah, I mean their fan base. They're saying it's going to be 62,000 all seater. I think they'd sell it out 3 times over. I mean the support. I know footballers say their supporters are the best, but they're just a different breed. They're unbelievable, and they. I just want to say thank you, Byria, because they voted me in the 150-year all-time 11 this week.
Oh wow, that's fantastic!
Which is an honour for me, and I thank them for that because they adopted me as a blue nose, basically.
Yeah.
So that was a very proud moment for me.
And as you said, not the easiest to start. Not everybody was having you from day one. But maybe we got to give, as football fans, still we're not as patient as we should be with players.
Well, it was a run of games. I scored an own goal. I'll give a penalty away in the next one. I got sent off in the next one. So it wasn't particularly
fair
a great
enough.
start. So
yeah, I think I might have been shouting.
He was just to have a go at me.
You nearly went to Blackburn. Graham Souness wanted you to take to Blackburn, but they couldn't agree to money, could they?
Yeah, it was. The club wanted a lot more than what they was willing to pay. It would have been obviously life-changing money, but it didn't happen. So, I mean, I had players at the club said to me, "Don't play, refuse to play, put a transfer request in," but I would have played for nothing. I just wanted to be out there and play. You know? And
that's why the fans like.
Yeah, and I wouldn't have had the career I had. Obviously, I mean, it might have gone differently with injuries. You don't know, but I'm happy I stayed. I loved the place, and I still like going back there.
Did you have to battle for free kicks, Martin? I mean, was it always, this one's Martin's, or was there other players in the side that wanted to take them all the time?
Yeah, Gary Rowett, he had good technique, and Paul Devlin, we had quite a few arguments who's going to take it, this, that and the other, but he took a few, I took a few, but I took most.
Yeah. And how did you sort of pick up? Did you work hard at it, or was it just a natural?
Yeah, I'd stay behind every day in training. And training field, I mean, I used to love training. I'd be out first, be the muddiest, last in. I used to practice on a Friday. I'd stick the mannequins probably 6-7 yards away and try and get it up and down.
Yeah.
So I did work at it, yeah.
It's interesting because we sometimes hear of players that happen to be good at football but don't particularly like football. But obviously you're clearly someone who could just live the dream and wanted to be a pro and put everything into it. Is it frustrating when you maybe come across teammates that don't care as much along the way?
Yeah, I mean, they didn't used to like me in training sometimes. So I trained how I played. I would not fly into a tackle like I would on a Saturday. I'd block the ball and I'd put my body on the line because I had to train to play like that. Yeah. But yeah, I love training every day. You're in having a crack with the lads and that every day as well, aren't you? So,
and that must be hard at 32.
Yeah, it's the thing you miss, isn't it?
Yeah, of course, it must be that. So, how difficult was that to cope with, knowing at 32 you were done?
Yeah, it's like, what do you do next? I mean, I didn't do anything for probably a year and a half, going to play golf every day, this, that, and the other, and just thinking, can't do this forever.
Did you get much help? I mean, did you talk the PFA? Or were you kind of, was that it? Were you just sort of cut off at that?
Yeah, I signed a lot of contracts away because basically in the end the club wasn't having it. Like, I mean, they didn't help me with the testimonial. So, it was a difficult time. We'd moved back down south then, and I was driving up and down every day. And the physio at the time just said to me, "Look, come in on a Wednesday, just see your faces being seen." And then eventually it got to a point where I just had enough, and I just thought, I'm not going to travel up and down here anymore. I'll take what the club offered, which again weren't great, but is what it is.
Trevor Francis, your relationship with him is interesting, and there's a lovely note from your wife as well about Helen, Trevor's wife, and the support that she got living up in Birmingham from the club and from her, which was a lovely touch because you don't often think of that.
Yeah, as well, because Nicola lived there for 9 years as well, and it's all right for me because I've got 30 fellas to muck around playing football with every day, and training ground. But she was up there on her own, and she built a life for herself, obviously with the kids. And it's difficult for her, but we loved it up there. They offered me a job, but if we'd have took the job, we probably might have still been there. Yeah,
your lad Charlie went on and played football as a goalkeeper.
Yeah, he started at Orient. He played for England under 18s. He's now at Wingate and Finchley. He's 29. I still think he could play league football, but
he played sort of England age group as well.
Yeah, he played for the under 18s. He played against Croatia. It was at St George's Park, but he's still got an England appearance, which is great.
And after football, you sort of tried out management a bit, but you went down. You're in a completely different line of work now.
Yeah, I was a manager for 4 days, wasn't I?
Right.
Well, it was a local club, Cheshunt, and Charlie was at Norwich at the time.
Yeah.
And then I took the job on Thursday, I think. We played Saturday. And on the Tuesday, I had to tell him I can't do it no more because I had to drive to Norwich 4 times a week.
Yeah.
So I just couldn't do it. But yeah, now, I drive trains now. I take you in most mornings.
Oh, right. Okay, I have to give you a wave.
Yeah.
I just say you don't get up to New Street. I mean, you still get recognised by Birmingham City fans.
Yeah, when I'm up there.
Yeah.
Not so much down here. We've got a couple of supporters that are on the railway.
Yeah.
But it is nice to go back. But when you're down here, no one knows you. It's great.
So we wish you well with the book. It's called Cut Short, with a foreword by Barry Fry, saying very nice things about you. So where can we buy it?
You can buy it Curtis-Sport online, and if books are bought by the 4th of December, I'll put a personal message in it. If you put it online or I sign it, I'll be up there and I'm sorting that out. Yeah, so
fantastic. And we wish you well. Hopefully they'll get you back up when the new stadium opens.
Yeah.
You can get out on the pitch as one of their all-time.
Yeah, I'll put my boots back on.
Cheers, Martin. Lovely to see you.
Very
all
much.
The best with the book. Take care. There's Cut Short is Martin Granger's book. I'm sure the Birmingham City fans will absolutely love it. Jimmy Molville joins us next, also chatting about his book. There's going to be a show, Everton and Me, and he'll be looking ahead to tonight as well against Manchester United live on talkSPORT. We're here with Toolstation. Check out Toolstation's unmissable deals, great offers on hundreds of trade brands. Next stop, Toolstation. So how's this for starting 2026? Thanks to our friends at Virgin Hotels Las Vegas, you and a mate could win the ultimate trip of a lifetime to Vegas. Picture this, you and your best mate flying up a class from London to Vegas, checking into a luxury spa villa for 4 incredible nights at Virgin Hotels Las Vegas. Cheering from the stands at the Las Vegas Raiders take on the Kansas City Chiefs. And to top it all, £5,000 in cash to play with as well. So clear your calendar from January the 2nd to January the 7th, 2026, because nothing starts a new year like Vegas. Good luck.
21 plus, UK excluding Northern Ireland. For a chance to win, text WIN to 83338. Text at £2 plus standard network rates. Bill payer's permission required. Or call 03434239761. Calls are charged at standard rate. All entries must be received by the 28th of November at 4 p.m. This is a network promotion. Run across talkSPORT, Virgin Radio UK and Talk. Full terms and conditions at talksport.com.
So Manchester United play Everton tonight on talkSPORT, kick-off at 8 o'clock. We'll be chatting about that game with our next guest and indeed with Ian Smith, the comedian Manchester United fan, later on. Jimmy Molville is a TV writer, performer and producer. He co-created Hat-Trick Productions that bring us lots of fantastic
Have I
programmes.
Got News for You.
Including Have I Got News for You and many more. He's also a massive Evertonian, and in his book there's going to be a show. Jimmy tells the story of Everton and Me, a complicated love story. It's a lovely book.
It really is.
Good afternoon, Jimmy.
Afternoon.
Jimmy, it's sort of autobiography, but through kind of blue-tinted spectacles, isn't it? It's your life as an Evertonian.
Yes, it is. I mean, I was asked to do it by Ian Ridley, who's, as you know, was a brilliant sports writer himself, and he's teamed up with the publisher. Quite a smart idea. They're short books. They're mercifully short. They're just over 30,000 words. And they're approaching football fans and saying, tell us the story of your relationship with your football team. And as you guys know, football is more than just watching 11 people playing another 11 people for 90 minutes. It's in your bones. If you're a lifelong fan like I am, and my dad took me before I could, I just was walking. I was about 3 or 4 years of age. My mother said to him, why are you taking this kid to the football? And he said, because I don't want to take any chances. You know, across the park, you've got Liverpool. But in those days, you see, ironically, Liverpool I was born in 55. Liverpool didn't come up from the second division until 62. And we won the league in 66. And we thought we were the bee's knees and we were going to be the team in Liverpool. And what I track in the book, of course, is that being an Evertonian, being infected with Evertonitis, one of the symptoms is Liverpoolitis, is that you break out in Liverpool trophies every few years.
I did love that expression, catching Evertonitis.
Yeah.
And it's a kind of, you have to acknowledge that as an Everton fan, is that I bought a season ticket, eventually got myself, because I ran away from Liverpool to go to university in 74, tried to reinvent myself and become all kind of southern. And I'd go and watch Chelsea. I enjoyed it with my mate Andy Hamilton, the writer who wrote Drop the Red Donkey and Outnumbered. And he's a local Fulham boy, and he took me with his dad. I lived in Wandsworth for a while. I even tried Wimbledon for a year, but it just wasn't the same. I didn't get that same sense of euphoria and despair you get from watching your own football team. So eventually I bought a season ticket in 1995, and since then we've won nothing.
But you chart the sort of decline. You also chart some of the great moments, like the 66 Cup final. I happened to be there as well with my dad. I remember the game really well. And and
the great team of the 80s as well. I mean, it was a marvellous team that Howard Kendall built. I used to go and see a fair bit of that side with an Evertonian mate of mine, and that was a brilliant team. Yeah,
they were. And ironically, there weren't really there was no one big superstar in it either. There was no kind of Ronaldo. There was no Messi. They were just. He just got the team right. It was like the Alf Ramsey template of, you get a balanced team and they're working for each other. And boy, did they look after each other. I remember once when Adrian Heath got done in a Sheffield Wednesday game by, I forget his name now. Was it? I forget his name now. He was a halfback, and he did Inchy Heath, and he got taken off, and that ruined his season. And every time we played Sheffield Wednesday after that, that player got done by Peter Reid. Peter Reid did him every single game because they did. You know, it's like the old joke about Scouser Alzheimer's. You forget everything but the grudges.
You talk a lot about Bill Kenwright as well, and his role at the club that kind of turned sour. It's very sad. He kind of got you going back up, didn't he?
He did, because in the 80s I was a bit of an actor, and I was doing a bit of telly and a bit of theatre, and he said to me, "Do you want to be in this play?" And he offered me a part, and it didn't work out. But during the interview, he said to me, "You're an Everton fan?" I said, "Yeah." I hadn't been to Goodison as a regular for nearly 20 years. I'd gone now and again, always watched them in London, but I sold myself this myth that it was too far to go on a Saturday. And he said, "Look, meet me at Euston. We're playing at home." Met him at Euston. We went on the train with a bunch of London-based Everton fans. Had a fantastic... Well, you know what it's like. When you go into the game, you have this ridiculous sense of hope, which you don't get at any other time in your life. You think, I know it's Man City and we haven't won for 5 games, but maybe they'll have an off day and we'll win. and then on the way back, you either have the euphoria of the win and you're reliving every goal, or you're just in that kind of shared gloom and misery of being a beaten fan. But Bill got me going back again. And what I found really sad was, he tried his best to do his best by the club that he loved. He was a big fan of Everton more than anything else. I know he's German, but he was really just a fan. And when he sold the club to Farhad Moshiri, he thought he was doing the right thing by getting us our billionaire. Because as you guys know, these days you're watching 11 millionaires playing 11 millionaires on a pitch owned by a billionaire. So he sold it to Farhad Moshiri. I'm sure he's a very nice guy. I'm sure he's loved by his family, but his project, his project Everton it just spiraled, and I'm sure he's badly advised. And Bill got caught up in it. Had Bill, being a professor of hindsight, of course, had Bill stepped back when he sold the company to Farhad Moshiri, his legacy would be intact. But what happened was he got hitched to this cart and it spiraled out of control, and he got mired in the negativity of it all. And the last year of his life, he didn't go to the ground once because he just felt that he wasn't welcome, which is so tragic. And I sit in the new stadium now, guys, and it's a fantastic stadium. And I just wish I was looking at one stand which said the Kenwright Stand or the Kenwright Lounge, or that the local council named the street walking up to the ground the Kenwright Way. Bill needs to be recognised in some way in our legacy, because we're all about legacy, Everton. That's all we have at the moment is, our song is "If you know your history, it's enough to make your heart go woo, woo, woo." Well, the truth is that Bill is a really important part of our history. He's the first person to get us David Moyes when we punched well above our weight in the early 2000s. And I think that, that Bill not to be remembered is a mistake for the club. And I'm hoping that when we're all settled in, and they've got a time, because the new owners have been working their socks off on getting it right. And I think they're a good thing, the Friedkin Group. I really do. Unlike, remember 777 were touted as the new one? Jesus Christ. When they turned up to the match, they looked like they were extras in Succession. They had baseball caps, dark glasses, and very finely tuned beards in the middle of January. These guys do not belong in a football stadium.
One of the legacies of the club, of course, is Goodison. And there's a lovely section in the book about that last day when you go there and the players that are on the pitch and what you feel about them and what it all brought back. It's a very nice section, that.
Thank you. Yeah, no, it was a big day. And ironically, it was my dad's birthday. He's dead. He'd been dead a long time, but he would have been 95. And it was very nice. I could take his younger brother, who's now 88, my uncle Gerard, who used to go and watch football with my dad when they were kids, and we sat there, and I was with my 3 boys as well. And as I say in the book, the rumour was that Paul McCartney was going to come and sing a song. And I joked saying, John Lennon's more likely to turn up. And ironically, at the very end of the celebration, at this magnificent celebration after the game, where all the old players came on, Derek Temple, as you said, at the 66 FA Cup final, scored the winner. Tony Kay, who infamously lost his career because of a gambling charge. His career was cut short. They invited him back, which I thought was so classy. But at the very end, I was hanging on to it. I wasn't crying at that point. Some people were crying around me. It's very emotional, saying goodbye to a place you've gone to all your life. And then at the very end, the band played In My Life by John Lennon, which is my favourite Beatles song. And I just went. And I felt this big hairy arm around me. My middle son, who's 25 now, George, saying, "Are you all right, Dad?" And I said, "I am all right, George. I'm happy, really. I'm grateful that I've been to a place where I've come most home games with a member of my family, and we just marinated ourselves in that feeling of being a football fan. Which, if you're a football fan, doesn't matter at what level you are a football fan, it goes way beyond just watching that game for 90 minutes.
Absolutely. Just a quick one on tonight. Finally, how are you feeling off to Old Trafford? How do you feel about that?
Well, it depends which Manchester United turns up. I'm hoping the one that lets goals in will turn up. I have to say, I do like their manager because he's so transparent and honest.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping that for Moyes' sake, I hope Moyes has this thing which I have, which is that it's an inner Scouser thing of the desire to prove people wrong. And I hope that he proves United were wrong to let go of him after 11 months they had Moyes in place. And then after Moyes left, they put a revolving door in the manager's office. Yeah.
Jimmy, lovely to talk to you.
Thank you, guys.
Enjoy the game tonight. All the best with the book. Thanks very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
There's going to be a show by Jimmy Molville, Everton and Me, A Complicated Love Story, published by footballshorts.co.uk.
It's really, I wouldn't say it's just for Everton fans. It's a really interesting,
it is a lovely
his
book.
life story and all. Really interesting.
Good read. We're going to get the Manchester United angle from comedian Ian Smith in the next hour. Steve Harmison on that shambles at the weekend. But Luke Humphreys joins us. World number 2, the draw for the Paddy Power PDC World Dance Championship this afternoon. We'll keep an eye on that and drive for you, certainly. But Luke Humphreys joining us to talk about that and a bit of Leeds next.
Everyone knows there are 20 managers in the Premier League, yeah? Well, actually, no. Around 3/4 of them are not managers. The terms manager and head coach are often used interchangeably to describe Premier League bosses, but they're actually two different jobs. So let's explain how and why. For years, fans referred to Mikel Arteta as Arsenal's manager, but I'm afraid technically...
No, I don't think so. No.
From his first day on the job, he was the Gunners' head coach. Let's pick a random moment in time, February 2025. Only 6 Premier League bosses actually held the official title of manager rather than head coach. Man City's Pep Guardiola, David Moyes of Everton, Ipswich boss Kieran McKenna, Southampton's Ivan Juric, Oliver Glasner at Crystal Palace and Leicester's Ruud van Nistelrooy were the only actual managers of their respective teams. Everyone else? That's right, head coach, including Ruben Amorim at Man United. He took over from Erik ten Hag, a man who had held the title of manager. Might come as a surprise that Amorim's appointment marked the first time ever that Man United had a head coach instead of a manager. But to understand why they made that decision, you also have to get what the difference is between a head coach and a manager. A manager's got a huge range of responsibilities. They're not just in charge of training and player lineups, they're also heavily involved in player sales and transfers. Critical stuff. But a head coach's role is far more focused on team training and performance on the pitch. So whereas Ten Hag was highly involved with decisions around transfers during his tenure, the intention was that Amorim wouldn't be, at least not on the same level. And as the sporting structure at Man United changed under Sir Jim Ratcliffe, people like Sir Dave Brailsford took charge of transfers instead. How all those roles play out in practice may be slightly different at different clubs though. On the other hand, the contracts of actual managers like Pep or Moyes had no limits on their job role and their involvement with transfers and contracts. But those guys are actually in the minority now, and it's a change that's happened pretty quickly. In 2019, there were only 6 head coaches in the Premier League, but by 2025, there were 14. A clear indication that more and more clubs are moving towards a model where the guy in charge is actually only really in charge on the pitch. And the way things are going, it might not be long before all 20 clubs have got head coaches, and the job position of football manager in the top flight is no more.
Good afternoon, Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT. Steve Harmison joining us for a chat, former England fast bowler, probably as shell-shocked as the England team after what we witnessed on Saturday. Ian Smith, comedian and Manchester United fan, will be popping in to see us, and we're just trying to get a good line through to Luke Humphreys to chat to him ahead of the game. What am I talking about? Yeah, Luke Humphreys ahead of the draw, should I say, at 4:30 this afternoon for the World Darts Championship. If you're a fan of blood sports, and I hope you're not, but if you are, you should listen to the Sports Bar tonight because possibly if not, if you're a Tottenham fan, because it doesn't matter what happens, even if Manchester United lose to Everton 5-0, as anyone seen, will almost certainly be Spurs.
It's no point. It's like shooting fish in a barrel, isn't it?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Jamie O'Hara expects the worst. But the boys will be taking your calls on all the weekend's football and indeed the game live on talkSPORT tonight. Manchester United versus Everton. Yeah, Stephen in Hackney says it's going to be a very difficult listen. Yeah, he's probably right.
I did like this letter. G. Kelly from Watford wrote to the Star about the Ashes. He said, great Ashes cricket tests, and the majority who haven't got TNT will not see it, not even highlights. I think, actually, that's a bonus, mate. That's a blessing. They are available, the highlights, of course.
Yes, they are, yeah. Now, I should just let you know the latest episode of 21 Minutes to Go, the podcast with Andy Goldstein and Jason Cundy is out now. Goldstein and Cundy reunite for a podcast that's full of all sorts of nonsense and stuff that's too rude for the radio. You have been warned. So if you've got to spare 21 minutes, go and enjoy 21 Minutes to Go now. Available wherever you get your podcasts. Anything else, Andy? You want to talk to the class
21
about?
Minutes.
Sorry?
I've always got a spare 21 minutes.
Yeah, exactly that. That's all you need.
This week, according to the Star, it's colder than...
I don't know.
Sweden.
Oh, okay, fair
Last week, it was colder than...
Iceland.
Russia.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
So it's hotter than in the summer and colder than in the
Can you
winter.
remember our bliss? I mean, we went to the World Cup draw in Russia in the December. before the 2018 World Cup. That is proper cold.
I had 2 sets of leggings.
Yes, you were slightly bunched up. The trouble is, we went into this restaurant, didn't we, the team, and I always remember this cat sort of sitting behind Nigel Adley, like at any moment he's going to jump on his neck and attack him. But this cat just sat behind him for the whole dinner, just looking at Nigel, trying to psych him out.
I thought that was Nigel's hair. I didn't realise it was a cat.
What do you think he'd had a sort of... it was a white cat. That would have been a very odd look. But no, it was incredibly warm in there. So I remember I think you lost about 3 stone during the meal. I do remember that. Yeah.
I do love when you look at now the pre-Ashes stuff, the pre-first test, it does look terrible, doesn't it? I had this song to the Dad's Army thing. Who do you think you're kidding, Mr. Smith, if you think old England's done? Well, we were done, weren't we?
Yeah.
For goodness sake. The worst thing is how they've got into Root's head, though. That's the thing. They've made it to the point where, because he's never got 100 in Australia, it's now basically, for him to be described as a truly great player, he has to do this. And, of course, that's put massive pressure on him, you know.
Yeah, I mean, do you think so? Do you think that's why he's playing those shots?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Because it's got inside his head.
He's only human, and, you know, he is a great player, and his test average says that. But, you know, to be described as truly great, he knows himself. He has to get 100 in Australia. If he doesn't, that'll always be something held against him, you know. And I think as a proud player and a great player, I think that he must be weighing on his mind. It's got to be.
I mean, he's got a lot of mental fortitude. If he can if he can just play himself in, but that's not who they are, mate, is it?
Well,
really,
he has been.
Whatever happened to playing yourself in?
He hasn't really gone along with the Bazball thing. He has tried to. He did at first, and it wasn't working for him, so he went back to playing like Joe Root.
Yeah,
which is obviously what he's going to need to do, really.
100 runs in front with 9 wickets in hand. How'd you lose from that?
Well, with stupidity.
Okay, well, there we are.
That's it. It was.
Now, it's been quite a monumental day at Glasgow Rangers. There's been changes upstairs. Many people may be dancing in the streets of Govan. David Tanner has put it all together for us to give you a bit of an idea of exactly what's gone on. David.
Kevin Thelwell first staked his reputation at Rangers on appointing Russell Martin as manager. Fans and pundits were sceptical about that appointment, and they were proven right, as Rangers immediately resembled Southampton in last season's shambolic Premier League campaign. When Russell Martin was sacked in record time at the start of last month, the clock was ticking on the sports director and on the CEO. The appointment of the new manager quickly turned into a fiasco. At the height of the managerial crisis, Thelwell announced a restructure behind the scenes and appointed a new head of recruitment. The best man for the job on Planet Football turned out to be his own son, Robbie. With the fans already gunning for Thelwell, adding nepotism to the fury was an extraordinary decision. Given that this move was signed off by the CEO, the reputation of Patrick Stewart was also damaged. In my opinion, the sacking of Kevin Thelwell has been inevitable since the day he admitted that he, quotes, underestimated the size of the football club last month, the day when Danny Röhl was appointed manager. Danny Röhl announced last week that each player in his squad would be graded for suitability on a traffic light scale. Green could stay and red could go. But it's the men who signed the misfiring squad who have been first to be shown the red light from the club's new American owners.
Wow, thank you, David. Yeah,
what about Amber?
I mean, how can you underestimate the size of a club like Glasgow Rangers? I mean, it's just a cursory glance through a history of football book would probably tell you, wouldn't it?
Even if your son's the best bloke for the job, it's not a great idea to appoint him, is it really?
I mean, it's not a great situation, and there was a few reports that people who went along to chat about the job didn't fancy taking it, what they encountered from some of the hierarchy. So anyway, clean break, and we'll see what happens for Rangers from here.
Still up for grabs in Scotland. Hearts lost, didn't they? To
yeah, that's right. Our old mate Lutz Fannon's still getting his feet under the table of sporting direction. We're going to try and get Lutz on, I think, if we can, for a bit of a chat once he's settled in, but he seems to be enjoying it up at Aberdeen. We're struggling with the line, unfortunately, Luke Humphreys. Hopefully you'll hear from him a little bit later on. I did see, though, Luke Littler saying that he didn't fancy playing Bo Greaves first up. He said, because I don't think many people would want me to win. And it's true, when you're playing Fallon Sherrick or Bo Greaves and stuff, you know, I mean, people would love to see an upset.
He'll beat Bo Grease.
Well, I think he probably will, but you never know. The top players are there to be shot down. The old crowd get going. But she has been playing very well. Anyway, we shall see. I'm sure the boys on Drive will keep an eye on the draw for you later on. It's around 4:30. But we got live football for you tonight on talkSPORT. Manchester United versus Everton. Sam Matterface, Danny Murphy, your commentary team. Adrian Durham, your host. And we're going to have a chat with Ian Smith, comedian and Manchester United fan. He's going to tell us about his new show and say look ahead to the match and the story so far under Ruben Amorim. That's all to come. We're here with Toolstation. Check out Toolstation's unmissable deals. Great offers on hundreds of trade brands. Next stop, Toolstation. Yeah, one remaining Premier League game, Manchester United, Everton. We spoke to Jimmy Molville earlier on about his book and touched on tonight's fixture. We'll talk Manchester United next, as well as his new show with comedian Ian Smith. Good afternoon, Ian.
Hello, good to see you.
Good to see you again. Let's talk about the show first. You've got a little run in London, then you're taking it round the country and to Tallinn for reasons you'll tell us in a moment. But Ian's Foot Spa half empty, your Edinburgh show this year.
Yeah.
What's the relevance of that title?
Absolutely none. I think I thought, well, the shows, they're usually about stress in some way.
Yeah.
So I think I thought it was really funny, the idea that as the audience go into the venue, I'm in a foot spa. And I told that to various people and they were like, don't do that, please. It'll be weird. So I think I just had foot spas on the brain.
Yeah.
But it's about stress, so it's sort of related.
So when people come in, you have got your feet in a foot spa, have you?
No,
you didn't do it. You
veto.
Yeah. But I thought about doing it.
Could have been a health and safety issue. You don't want to complete the circuit with your feet in a foot spa, do you, holding the microphone?
Yeah.
That wouldn't be a great idea.
And some people like feet a bit too much as well.
Oh, you from that point of view? Oh, okay.
That's not good.
Have you got particularly attractive feet, Ian, or not?
I guess I've never really fully displayed them.
Yeah.
Maybe I've got more sort of radio.
Maybe there's a foot modelling you chose the wrong business.
Yeah. Well, I'm up for that if there's any
foot modelling
agents listening.
Why not?
Yeah.
You're playing the Soho Theatre. It's a lovely place to play. Often people come from Edinburgh if they've had a good Edinburgh and do a little.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah, I'm doing 5 nights there from tomorrow. So yeah, I'm very excited. On Wednesday, there's a group booking that I was only told about recently. There's 30 17 to 19-year-old Danish private school kids coming.
Wow.
Really?
And I don't know why. I think if I'd have been told about that, I might have said, I don't really know if that's the vibe of the gig. But so if you want to come on Wednesday, there's 3 tickets left, and it's going to be a real awkward run.
Yeah. You sometimes if you go to a show in town in the West End, you see people have just picked up tickets from the booth. I don't know what they're watching.
Yeah.
And you do get some people looking a little bit nonplussed. I mean, I can't remember. I saw a play, and it was a very British play with very British themes. It might have been a sort of Morecambe and Wisey type thing.
Yeah.
There was a bunch of sort of Americans not having a clue of what was going on.
Yeah.
Maybe that'd be the same. Maybe you'll get a big audience in Copenhagen off the back of this.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really trying to branch out
Rasmus
internationally.
Højlund fan.
Yeah. I think I'm just going to stick to obscure places in Europe, like this Estonia date.
Just one random date. So you're doing the UK and Tallinn. That's it.
Yeah. I think I'm just going to keep it like that.
We're all going on a European tour.
Yeah. You've got to add one so you can technically call it a European tour. So I've gone Estonia.
Yeah. So where can we find all the dates, Ian, for the whole tour?
My website, iansmithcomedian.co.uk, or if you follow me on Instagram, which is just sort of at Ian Smith Comedy. Yeah, it's all there.
But the dates, starting tomorrow for that little run at the Soho Theatre.
If you podcast as well.
Yeah. Podcast called Northern News, all about the weird sort of stories we find from the north. My favourite one, there was a man. He was really stressed out because some kids keep opening his letterbox and shouting porridge through it, and he doesn't know why.
That'd be quite unnerving, wouldn't it?
Yeah. He says it's porridge. Sometimes they shout porridge time, Papa Bear.
Wow.
And he's losing his mind.
Yeah.
And he's gone on a Facebook forum and he's told people this is happening. But in the post on the Facebook forum that's then been reported in the newspapers, he said his address. So he's gone, I live on this estate, on this number, and people keep shouting porridge at me, and I'm losing my mind.
Not going to help.
Yeah. So now I think a lot of people are shouting porridge.
It would be worrying because you'd be racking your brains thinking, what did I do porridge related? You'd be thinking, it can't be randomness. There must be a reason for it.
That's why I think it's a perfect crime.
Yeah.
They've really got in his head, I think.
Yeah. I can see, I don't know if anybody out there, like a TV writer, might sort of want to pick that up. I don't know who we cast in the role of
Quaker or anything like that.
It could be,
Well, it could be. That's a bit, you'd think of that first, wouldn't you?
Or maybe he looks like the guy on the packaging, the Quaker Oats can.
Maybe he wears a tall hat and breeches and buckle shoes.
Yeah.
Well, if you're wandering around the estate in Bury dressed like that, you're going to draw attention, aren't you?
Yeah, it's his own fault, really.
Well, anyway, we'll try and get to the bottom of that. So, how life under Ruben Amorim? How are you feeling a bit more positive at the moment?
Yeah, I am. I was really sort of positive when he first came, and then I guess I'm still not 100% sold on the formation, but partly because I just think United's got this history of great wingers, and I think we've got so many exciting like young wingers in the youth team as well. And I guess now we've got these 2 number 10s, and it's harder to get as
Wingless
excited about a
wonders,
fullback.
That's very true. You've had a great tradition.
You've got good wide players, though. You've got Ahmad, you've got Bremo, you know.
Were you sad to have lost Garnacho or not? He's doing all right for Andy's lot. Of course, at Chelsea,
Yeah, I sort of had mixed feelings because I was really excited. Like I guess everyone does, but I love it when a young player comes through. Like there's talk of I never know how to say his first name, Shea Lacey, who's going to be coming into I think it is in the travelling squad for the Everton game. So I love it when one of the young kids comes through.
Yeah.
But Garnacho he's so arrogant. So he's always going to do something like, it's so annoying when you're getting paid that much money and you get subbed off in like the 70th minute.
Yeah.
And you're getting angry. And
he does that. That's been annoying you.
He's done a bit of that for Chelsea, I think.
Yeah.
He needs to cut that out because it's
not about
it's a
you,
team
mate.
game, you know. Really is. Rashford, I think, is disappointing for United fans because he really is a top player and he's doing it for Barcelona, and that's.
How did you? I mean, because you kind of say he just needed a change, didn't he? You sense he had kind of run its course for whatever reason, but still a great player. We're seeing it now, aren't we?
Oh yeah. It was frustrating, kind of seeing. I guess like body language. He looked like he didn't want to be there. But I love Rashford so much that you kind of just with someone like that who's given a lot of time to the team as well in a really tough period. You just think, yeah, fair enough. Like go to Barcelona, just be happy. It's a good team.
Yeah.
Like not going to force it.
The manager is refreshingly honest. Even today, when he was asked about.
Jimmy Molville was saying that earlier. He said he likes the fact that he never ducks a question. He's possibly too honest.
Yeah, he started laughing. He said, "What do you think is going to happen tonight?" He went, well, "I don't know, really." Because you don't know. They are one of those type of teams at the moment.
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah, I really like his vibe, but then he will say something like. What did he say once? He was like, sometimes I just want to leave.
Yeah, sometimes I want to leave. Sometimes I hate my players.
Oh, he had a really hard time. I mean, you know, but he's come through that and.
Yeah.
They definitely finish top 4, and that'll be a good season. Top 6.
Yeah. Finish top 4, get that kid on the line to cut his hair.
Yeah.
That's the main dream, really.
Wow. He should have gone, we all saying he should have gone 5 games unbeaten.
5 games up. Five games unbeaten would have done it. Not 5 wins.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's hard, even if you're like, if you win in the Premier League.
Yeah.
You draw every now and then.
Yeah, it's not easy. I agree.
Yeah, well, I bet he's regretting that more than anyone.
Yeah. I mean, away from the spotlight when he's on talkSPORT or he's in the papers, you're living with that. I mean, you're walking around with that, and you're day to day. You're going shopping.
You could just have it cut.
You're wandering around Lidl with that.
Yeah.
Not everybody knows the story of why you've done it. They just think you're a bit weird.
Yeah. Have to explain it to everyone. Yeah. It's too big. His hair's too thick as well. He can't even wear a hat. It's too big for a hat. It's sort of Fellaini hair.
Yeah. It won't be. He's obviously not. If he can't wear a hat, he's not the bloke they're shouting porridge through his letterbox. It's not him.
Yeah. I mean, he's already got enough troubles, that guy.
Do you find Northern news is better than Southern news?
I think it can be. Well, it's usually maybe a bit more upbeat. But I think that's because sometimes we get a story and we look at the headline and we think, oh, this is a funny story.
Yeah.
And we start reading it on the podcast, and as it goes down, we sort of realise, oh, okay, I don't know if this is appropriate, really. There's something going on here a bit darker than the headline. We'll have something like man throwing crisps at people at the supermarket.
Yeah.
And we think, oh, that's funny. But as it goes on, you go, okay, this man is he's throwing crisps a lot, and it might be a bigger problem.
There was a time when, like now on social media or in newspapers online, you can put a proper headline and you've got the room. But the real art to it was doing it on a billboard when people were picking up, say, the Manchester Evening News.
Yeah.
And there's our old mate Dave Spikey wrote a sitcom, Dead Man Weds.
I love that sitcom.
Dead Man Weds, which was a brilliant thing to see.
Yeah.
I mean, I would go and buy that paper.
Yeah. I remember watching. I loved that sitcom. I can't remember. In my head, it ended with a giant rabbit or something, like a mutant rabbit.
That does ring a bell.
It was like a story that was actually real. But because I'd love to write something about local papers.
Yeah.
It's sort of such a thankless but beautiful job sometimes.
Yeah, I think that particular world has changed these days. They've all been sort of hoovered up, and it's sort of clickbait central and unreadable web pages.
Yeah.
Maybe that's me. So go along and see Ian in action at the Soho Theatre around the country or in Tallinn. It'd be great if, like, you had all those Danes came over to Tallinn. They loved it so much.
Yeah.
They see two shows. The first one here and then Tallinn.
That's my best chance of selling out Tallinn, I think, is that the Danes get wind of it.
Have you asked your agent why? I mean,
Well, no, they messaged me on... they just emailed me and said, do you fancy doing an Estonia day?
Yeah.
I thought, I've never been to Estonia. I Googled Tallinn in January, covered in snow, looks beautiful.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a lovely place.
Yeah, so I'm quite excited. I imagine I'll make absolutely no money from it whatsoever. Maybe make a loss, but it'll be fun.
Brilliant. Good to see you, Ian. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
Enjoy the game tonight.
Yeah, cheers.
Foot Spa half empty. Ian Smith's tour kicking off. So Theatre in London tomorrow night. Andy Brassel guides us around Europe. Steve Harmison reflects on the Ashes. That's all to come.
A 12-1-9, scored 24, conceded 6. talkSPORT's Alan Pardew says those are the kind of stats that you win the league with.
Unless there's a massive hit injury-wise or some, I don't know, something untold happens with one of the other teams. They just hit us like Man City can do when you put 10, 12 wins together to sort of really close the gap. I can't see anyone catching them.
He was well impressed with Arsenal's 4-1 shellacking against Spurs in the derby yesterday with Ebe Eze's hat-trick, but he insists Thomas Frank isn't out of his depth at Tottenham.
Emotional and frustrated, and we need to look into it with calm heads in that situation. That's why I was very confident going into the game, that we can be competitive in the game, which we weren't, and which is disappointing.
From one team falling to another struggling to stay afloat. Leeds are in the bottom three after defeat to Villa at Ellen Road. Questions are being raised over Daniel Farke as the fans were chanting for him to make subs in the second half. Farke insists he knows the squad best.
It's not like you can run around the pitch and explain each and every support. It's also not necessarily not important. I have to make sure that I take the decisions that I think are right for the team.
Rugby Union and Steve Borthwick's thrilled with England's progress since he took over.
Time, development, the journey we're on, progress, it's tracking well.
They end 2025 with an 11-game winning streak, losing just once after their victory over Argentina yesterday. You can get more, as ever, on talksport.com.
Autumn International's review on talkSPORT with Funding Circle. Business finance that backs you. Find out more at fundingcircle.com.
Yes, before we talk cricket, we'll recap last weekend's Autumn International action with Funding Circle. talkSPORT's rugby correspondent Alfie Reynolds is here to tell you all you need to know about England's big win over Argentina yesterday.
England have played their final match of 2025 and it is a year that has been a resounding success for Steve Borthwick and his England team. 12 games played and 11 victories. The last one here against Argentina was far from easy, as the England fullback Freddie Stewart told talkSPORT after the game.
Yeah, I think relief. You know, you look at the last passage of the game and we're fighting for our lives there. So certainly relief. I think now we've had a time to speak in the change room after and digest, just reflect on what's been a brilliant 4 weeks. You know, we've put in some good solid performances. We said in the change room we just want to keep backing up wins, and we've done that. It was exhausting today, mentally and physically. I think I was sat at the end, and that's easily one of the toughest test matches I've played.
As for 2025, England have won 11 of their 12 games. It has been a year to remember for them, and the Six Nations in 2026 they will go into as one of the favourites. 12 games played, 11 victories. England are back up there amongst international rugby's elite.
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you very much, Alfie. That was our recap of last weekend's Autumn International action with Funding Circle.
Autumn International's review on talkSPORT with Funding Circle. We make your finance goals our business. Find out more at fundingcircle.com.
Well, anyway, the rugby's going well, at least. Less so. The cricket, an 8-wicket defeat to Australia in the first Ashes Test in Perth. A lot of conjecture, a lot of conversation about what England should do now to prepare for the second Test. Joining us now to chat about that is former England fast bowler, one of our top team, bringing you the Ashes Inquest on talkSPORT 2 on the Cricket YouTube channel. Steve Harmison. Hi, Harmy.
Afternoon, Paul. Afternoon, Andy.
Well, we've let the dust settle a little bit, a chance to take a deep breath, and we turn our attentions to the second Test. And as I was telling Andy earlier on, there's this feeling that we know now that all the mainstream boys are not going to play in this game at the weekend, the pink ball game, to warm up for this. And there's two schools of thought. One saying any preparation with the pink ball is the right thing. Others, including Stuart Law and our own Andrew McKenna, feeling that it won't be sort of comparable, really, Canberra and Brisbane.
No, it won't. I mean, in this situation, you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. I mean, I would like to have seen every single one of the squad that didn't play go up there and play. So the likes of Potts, Tongue, Bashir, Jackson, Bethel. I think there's only 3 of the 5 that are going to go up and play. I think the plan was always that nobody was going. I think Canberra was always going to be a Lions game rather than a full England team that was going to go and play the Prime Minister's 11. And it's also a 2-day game. It's not a 4-day game. So if you're wanting to send the likes of Crawley, Pope, Root 2 hasn't scored any runs yet, if you wanted to send them, they're basically going to go for, one afternoon's knock and then field for an afternoon. That probably is counterproductive as well. So whichever way you look at it, there's an opinion, there's an argument for the other way. I think somebody like Zach Crawley, who's had an absolute nightmare and saw 2 zeros in the first Test match, I think time away from the game might do him the world of good rather than go to Canberra on a surface which is not going to bounce, a bit like Lilac Hill compared to the Optus, to what Canberra is going to be at the Monica Oval compared to Brisbane. It might just be better off getting to Brisbane early and trying to get as many nets in as possible rather than go and stand in the field, stew about it, nick one or get LBW and potentially only bat once. Then you put more pressure on them. So whichever way you do it, I don't think there's a positive or a negative about it. But I'd like to have seen the rest of them go up and play, the ones that didn't play in Perth.
You might as well open the batting for England. You couldn't be worse, could you? Be honest.
Bit harsh.
Well, no, seriously, what's the point? What's the point? He does out of these 10 innings that he's going to play in the Ashes, maybe one he'll get away with, one he'll score a good score. But in general, he's not going to, is he? We all know that.
Andy feels there, I don't know how you feel, Andy feels there's an arrogance around the whole setup. And it's definitely, England have done this before, Harmy, but it feels this time, this felt quite line in the sand, 100 runs up, 9 wickets in the bank, and you still contrive to lose. They
win by like 1 wicket or 2 runs, or they get absolutely thrashed, this team. It's weird.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that, and I can't defend that either. I can't defend them. They have, under McCullum and Stokes and Rugby, they have looked arrogant, they have looked egotistical, they have bounced back, they have made calamitous mistakes, lose games, kamikaze style, and then bounce back and win the next one. Can I see them doing that again this week? Of course I can, but not under this much pressure. We've never been under this much scrutiny. No matter what anybody says about being in the bubble and trying, they're not going to listen to it. They're not going to take any notes of it. I'm sorry, they're human beings, and it is the pressure of this, the pressure of the world sort of looking in of what Ashes cricket is. This is going to take some coming back. I looked at this game, this last Test match, and go, you know what? Before the Test series, I said England to win 3-2. I can see Australia winning 3-2 now. I can still see England coming back in this series. I can still see them winning a game and winning 2 possible games. I can't see them winning 3. But this is what this team does. But they've got to be smarter. They have vulnerabilities in Australia. Mitchell Stark took 10 wickets. The rest look quite good. They've got Cummins coming back. Their batters look vulnerable. I know we'll always revert back to 2005. When we look at Lords in 2005, we went into that game thinking, right, we're going to take Australia on. We're going to beat them. We're the best team in the world at this moment in time. And 4 days later, Glenn McGrath turned up. Australia turned up. We got battered, and it was like same old England. But we had a crumb of a really, really positive point of view that we could get 20 wickets. We could take we could give Australia a game. And I still see that in this team. But the pressure they're under now and the way they go about things off the field and just isolate everybody and be sort of arrogant and egotistical, I don't think that does them any favours going forward. We're alleviating the pressure going into the 2nd, 3rd and 4th Test match.
Sure.
When the Ashes are played here, you get Labuschagne will play for Glamorgan, or Smith will come over here and play for Sussex. They get used to English wickets. It is absolutely ridiculous what they did to go and play on those pitches and the way they bounce and the way without any practice at all. It wasn't a great surprise, was it, that they got absolutely thrashed?
No, Andy, you're 100% right. But we said this at Sixers when we were talking before the Test match. We said this in the build-up. All the Ben Stokes calls them has-beens. All the former players talked about preparation. They weren't bothered. I don't think the players are talking about play a million games going into it. There was one fundamental thing that every single player that's played in an Ashes series, that's been to Australia, that knows exactly what it's like, that first opening throws of an Ashes series, it is a bounce of the ball in Perth. And your shot selection has to be spot on. I.e., do not try and hit the ball down the ground. You don't. I mean, you look at Travis Head's innings. You know, he made calculated risks. He hit everything square of the wicket or behind square, and the ones that he did hit down the ground, he didn't try and hit them too hard. He punched them, and they were all from literally Yorker length. So he was making calculated risks in the way he's playing. We're trying to drive the ball chest high, you know, waist high. This is the preparation that people were having a go at, not the games you play, but the actual bounce of the ball and the way you utilize your skill sets, shot selection, shot execution. That's what Graham Gooch was saying. That's what Michael Vaughan was saying. That's what Ian Botham was saying. To call them has-beens, and then you look at it, we're not smart after the effect. This is what people that have played the game in that country were seeing going to happen. And unfortunately, England just pushed it to one side, stuck the chest out, said we know, you know, we reinvented the Test match wheel. And look what happened.
And that, you're right, that all adds to the pressure, the growing pressure. It's going to be a tough couple of weeks for them, to the point where your old mate Mark Wood was going to drive there until he realised it was 2.5 days across treacherous country. So
yeah, he's from Ashington though. He's from Ashington though. Everywhere's a long way from Ashington. So he's quite used to driving to Lords, driving to the Oval. It's a long way. Yeah. So I don't think he quite got the grasp of how far Brisbane was from Perth. But hey, look, I would have drove to Brisbane to play the next Test match because I want to put right what's gone wrong. Yeah. England will be desperate to do that. And like I said before, I still think there's vulnerabilities in Australia that England can capitalise on and can win games. But boy, they put themselves under massive pressure.
They have. Harmy, nice one. We'll catch up with you soon. Thanks a lot.
Cheers, everyone.
Steve Harmison there, former England fast bowler, two-time Ashes winner. He's going to be on the following on podcast. We've got the Ashes Inquest available on talkSPORT 2 and the talkSPORT Cricket YouTube channel. And you can subscribe to the talkSPORT Cricket YouTube channel and the following on podcast feed to keep up to date with all the action during the Ashes series. Big weekend in Europe once again. This is Vinicius' story that has emerged this afternoon. Could he be on the market potentially if he doesn't make his peace with the coach? That, and looking ahead to a big week in Europe.
Some brilliant games.
Some real heavyweights turning up from European football to take on the English sides in the Champions League and beyond. And we'll be discussing that with Andy Brassel very shortly. We're here with our good friends at Toolstation. You can check out Toolstation's unmissable deals, great offers on hundreds of trade brands. Next up, Toolstation. Yeah, huge week of European football here on talkSPORT. And joining us now to talk about that and some of the big stories from the weekend, Trans-Europe Express's very own Andy Brassel. Good afternoon, Andy.
Hey, chaps, how are you?
Good, thanks. We should talk about these Vinicius stories. There's a few rumours suggesting that he won't sign a new contract if Xabi Alonso stays as the coach. They're not getting on.
Yeah, I mean, this is the logical next step to the way their relationship has been going. He didn't start at Elche last night, by the way, in the 2-2 draw that just about took them back on top of La Liga after Barcelona won earlier in the weekend. And we know they've not been getting along. It's been pretty clear. He wants to be treated as a star, which has already been threatened by the arrival of Kylian Mbappe, that he's not the star anymore. And Xabi Alonso is someone who believes quite fervently in meritocracy. Now, as we've said before, medium term, goodness knows how that works at Real Madrid, because that is not the history of the club and that is not the way that the club and previous coaches have worked, but that's what he's trying to impose. It's his idea. And there was already really a division, because Vinicius wanted a load more money to extend his contract than Real Madrid are actually prepared to offer. Now, you sense there was a compromise somewhere along the line, simply because Saudi have offered him all the money in the world, and if he'd have wanted that, he would have taken it already. It's been on the table for the best part of 2 years. So this is the logical next step, that he's going to try and put extra pressure on Xabi Alonso, particularly the morning after a result. I don't think the story coming out now is any particular coincidence after a result where they would have expected to do a bit better, especially with the way they went into the international break. So I think this is Vinicius's camp just having a bit of a power play, really, because it's clear that if Xabi Alonso is still there in under 2 years, which is a lifetime in Real Madrid managerial terms, by the way, that he won't be signing again. He wouldn't want to stay.
Yeah, I mean, they could do that, and they could do with the money, couldn't they?
Yeah, they could. I mean, I guess they're getting to a point where, like he's not exactly entering the realm of the unsellable, but there's such a small bracket of clubs, Andy, that could bid for him anyway, that could pay him the wages, that could satisfy his sporting ambitions, that could pay Real Madrid the fee they wanted, especially when they know what sort of fee a Saudi Pro League club would offer. So really, it's a bit of an impasse. They're miles away in terms of a contract, and really this poor relationship with Xabi Alonso is kind of working in his favour, really, because he can put it out there that, well, I am loyal to Real Madrid, but the only thing that's stopping me is this. It's not the only thing that's stopping him, because otherwise they would have agreed on a new contract absolutely ages ago.
Barcelona christened the new ground, the new camp, the other day, and with a big thumping win, but they go to Chelsea tomorrow night. What sort of nick are they in at the moment?
Yeah, pretty good. It's fair to say. I mean, they're carrying some injuries, but look, it's very hard to judge on the game at the weekend because, of course, Athletic are another team that are in the Champions League that they beat 4-0 at the weekend. Looks great on paper. Athletic are bad at the moment. Of course, they came and lost heavily at Newcastle while they were shorn of a lot of players going back a couple of weeks. But in terms of inaugurating the new ground, it worked pretty well for Barcelona because Athletic could not have been any more compliant. Interesting that Robert Lewandowski, was so much speculation over his future recently, opened the scoring after 5 minutes. Lamine Yamal's looking really fit after having a bit of a break in the international break. So those are all really, really positive things for them.
Rashford looks good too. I'm looking forward to the game. I think it'll be quite exciting game, but not easy.
Should be. Not easy. It should be. And Rafinha's back fit as well. He came on a sub at the weekend.
Two German sides in action against English sides, Leverkusen City, and of course Bayern going to the Emirates.
Yeah, but the Bayern Arsenal one is really interesting because look, we could have had yesterday, as I was saying on Trans-Europe Express last night, we could have had our favourites for the Champions League at the start of the season. I think most people would have said that PSG and Barcelona, because they're the champions and the other outstanding team from last season's Champions League, and people would just chuck in Real Madrid because they're Real Madrid. But of the other teams that could realistically win the Champions League, the best two at the moment on current form are Arsenal and Bayern. They're the best two teams in Europe. So it's an incredible game. Now, look, that they were 2-0 down after 17 minutes at home to Freiburg on Saturday. They're letting two shabby set pieces. Please no Arsenal fans, by the way. After that, they were able to come back. And it was mainly because Harry Kane did score, but it was mainly because of Michael Olise, who scored twice, who assisted 3, who in the last month and a half has been absolutely walking on water. So how he impacts this game, I think will be really interesting. interesting. They're a settled side and they're a really, really good side.
I think Arsenal win this game. I do. But we'll see.
You weren't sure about them when you watched them.
I'm not convinced, but we'll see. That's why it's a fascinating game.
We had a Milan derby at the weekend, Andy, didn't we?
Yeah, we did, and it went completely the same way as all the Milan derbies last season, in that there were 5 of them last season. Inter, who are clearly the better team, didn't win any of them, despite the fact that Milan were really quite poor last season. Milan have improved a lot this season under Max Allegri, but it had the same pattern as all those ones last season. Inter knocked on the door for a really long time. They had loads of the ball, they had loads of chances. Mike Maignan, who of course nearly went to Chelsea in the summer, had a brilliant game. He saved a penalty from Hakan Çalhanoğlu, who never misses penalties in the second half. And they hit the woodwork twice as well, Inter. And yet Milan won 1-0 with Christian Pulisic scoring the winner. Now, it's interesting, I thought, the technique of Maignan saving the penalty against Çalhanoğlu, who, as I said, never misses penalties. And he knows his favourite penalty is low keeper's bottom right. So what he did is he stood a little bit off centre towards the other side to say, I know where you want to put it, and now I'm giving you a bit of extra space. Go on, have a go. In fact, someone did this in France. A Brest goalkeeper did it a couple of years ago to Neymar, eliciting that, but a lot more extremely. So he stood over by one post on the side of the goal. And obviously Neymar, it freaked him out a little bit. He tried to put it right in the corner and he hit the post. Oh. Now this one, Çalhanoğlu, he hit it well enough, but it was a great save from Maignan. And at his best, he's one of the absolute best goalkeepers in the world. I mean, if you're talking about guys who would have made a difference to Premier League teams, or would have made a difference to Chelsea, Maignan is the one. You know, he's not just a million times better than any goalkeeper they've got. He's someone who's a real leader. And who knows? He's out of contract next summer, so let's wait and see.
Maybe they'll go for him.
Andy, sadly, we're out of time, but we will catch up with you, I'm sure, and keep building up to all the games this week. But for now, thanks very much.
Look forward to it. Cheers.
Andy Brassel there. Don't forget Trans Europe Express, the podcast, if you missed the show last night on talkSPORT, wherever you get your podcast. Don't miss breakfast tomorrow either. Alan Brazil, Ali McCoist. Al's doing the full week.
I know. It's good for the clips.
Some great guests. Franco Zola's going to be on there at the game against Barcelona. We've got rugby and traitor star Joe Marler on the back of England's win over Argentina. Chris Wilder's on after Blades won the Steel City Derby. Some top guests for you on breakfast tomorrow from 6 a.m. So we'll catch up with you tomorrow from 1 and build up to a huge week of Champions League, Conference and indeed Europa League football. So do hope you can join us. Coming up next, though, talking football, incorporating the World Darts Championship draw. I'll keep an eye on that. I'm sure I'll have some special guests from the draw. Andy Goldstein and Darren Bent will drive. We'll see you tomorrow.